Yeah, we'll edit it in post. All right, welcome to our first real episode of With Disadvantage. We had one before, but we're going to consider that a technical test because it was a complete failure of a test. And this week we're going to do a lot better. So we've got our Mixer stream going. So if anyone's watching on Mixer, hello, welcome. We're recording, and we'll be putting this up on YouTube and our podcast feed after. If you head over to withdisadvantage.com as of this recording, so if you're watching live, there's not anything there yet. But by the time it's on YouTube or in the feed, you guys should be able to see a basic page there with some links to everything, as well as a feedback form if you would like to fill that out and give us feedback. If you have not already, listen to the prologue episode, which should be in this feed or on this channel just before this one. It will catch you up to where we are in our campaign. This is an existing campaign that so far nothing super duper exciting has happened. We're just getting used to the game and each other. A lot of us are new to D&D, myself included. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and just get started today. Well, let's have everybody introduce themselves real quick, since we did that last time and that episode is gone. So, like I said, I'm your host, Chev. I live in Saratoga Springs, Utah. Let's move on. I'll go to you, Maggie. Want to introduce us and your character? Sorry, do you want to use your name or your handle? What do you prefer to be called?
I prefer the handle, not my editing handle. I am Mirama, and I play the Bugbear El Sacapunto. He is a monk. Well, he went to monk school, I should say, to fight as a gladiator, and grew up, in the School of Hard Knocks. Not the brightest character. Started out with a severe dislike of the world and everyone, but over our travels has grown to be pretty fond of the group that he's with now. Still dumb as rocks, though.
Okay, and let's see. Furlough, you are next on the list.
Hi, I'm Boris, and I am playing our lovable Furball Rogue, Furlough Stabkins.
Lovable.
Furlough is a adventurer that started out actually working more of a clerical type job for some of the area government, a lot of like court records and legal documents and filings. But after his family went missing, I think he decided to take the matter of finding them into his own hands, and he started to get the feeling that someone within the area governments either was behind the disappearance or knew about what happened. So over his travels, he's slowly starting to shift from where originally his purpose was very noble. He had a very positive view of the world. The more he sees of the world, he's slowly starting to realize just how shitty of a place it truly is. And over time, his attitude and even the way he conducts himself in combat and in his venturings have kind of slowly started to shift to reflect that.
Awesome. Great intro. I love it. Do you have anything else to add?
Oh yeah, chicken nuggets are the best.
Okay. All right, and then Shenanigans. You go ahead and introduce yourself and your character.
Hello, my name is Shenanigans. Welcome to my introduction. I'm a goblin who's kind of a slime now. And let's see, I have an imaginary friend that glitters that only I can see.
Oh
I'm chaotic neutral.
The proper name is Slimefolk.
Well, what he said, Slimefolk.
Yeah, so if you haven't read our prologue or watched our prologue, Slimefolk are a homebrew race. They are basically sentient oozes that have absorbed a sentient creature of some kind and become sentient themselves. They're not the same as the creature they absorbed, though. So you are not technically a goblin. You don't even remember being a goblin. Shenanigans.
Let's see what else. I'm a druid. I think everyone's just too dumb to see glitters. That's why they don't see her.
Anything else?
And that's it.
Okay. All right, Lulu, you're up.
All right, I am Butson Gyro. I am a computer science senior enrolled at a university in Michigan. I play as the Slimefolk Lulu, barbarian class, with the whatchamacallit. What's the subclass thing called again?
Multiclassing?
Auras. No, the aura class for the barbarian.
I forget. You have to look at your sheet and tell me.
Yeah. Whichever one that is, I'm that one.
Okay.
And
All right. Oh,
in the story, I was basically born yesterday, right?
yes, accurate. So if you've watched our prologue, Lulu was just discovered. Well, technically, Shenanigans was also just discovered. But they're both discovered in a lab that led up to this space station. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into what happened last time. But we do have one other person on the line playing the character Hava Beer, although he's not going to be playing this week because he's driving currently and has a bad connection. But if you are hearing us right now and you would like to introduce yourself, you're welcome to. I'll take that as a no. All right.
He disconnected and dropped out ages ago.
Oh, did he? Okay. All right. Well, then we won't worry about it. I'm going to be playing his character today. Basically, we'll just be treating him like an NPC. So, the only other character with us in the party right now is a little gnome named Fitz, and he is with the party right now. He just helped save them by showing them how to turn Shenanigans into a giant vessel of some kind. So, like I said, with last time, they helped to liberate an ancient Volk named Tanith. So that's this big green thing here. If you guys can see, I need to share this with you guys. There you go. So this big green thing here is the station that our players just made their way through last time. So his name was Tanith. Turns out he was a giant Volk forced into the shape of a space station. Tanith Station was apparently some kind of energy siphon, harnessing energy from Toril, which is our player's home planet, and its moon, Omar. As energy emanating from Omar spiked, Tanith Station was unable to keep up, and the moon exploded under the pressure, wreaking havoc on Tanith and our heroes. The station integrity field failed, and Tanith began to lose his shape with our heroes still inside. With the help of a gnome engineer who goes by Fitz, who I just introduced, the party was saved by turning Shenanigans into basically a spacefaring vessel that holds everyone. So you guys can see here on screen, I have Shenanigans' token is massive, and everyone else's token is on top of him. Let's see here. 10 days has passed since our heroes first innocently came together to help Gundren deliver his cart of supplies from Neverwinter to Phandalin. I know it seems like a lot longer because we've been playing for a lot longer, but it's really only been about 10 days. So who could have guessed that less than 2 weeks later they'd find themselves dead in space, floating inside a translucent paint box, which is where everyone is at right now.
Yeah, and Lulu is still joyously hugging Fitz because he saves Tanith.
Get off me! Get off me! We're not safe yet!
I don't react to that.
You don't? Okay. So Fitz is fighting to let go. Are you trying to hold on to him despite fighting him?
If he's fighting to get out, I let him.
Okay, so he slips out from your grasp, and he lands on the ground on his feet gently, and pulls out the device. It's basically a touchscreen tablet of some kind that is controlling the integrity field that is holding Shenanigans' shape right now. And he looks down at the device and looks back up at you guys, and he says, "We don't have time. We got to get out of here."
Go where?
And he says, "You don't understand. Now that we destroyed the station, the energy buildup is going to. He kind of just like trails off. He's kind of mumbling. He's kind of starting to get hysterical.
Are we weightless in this cube?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But yes, I suppose you would be weightless inside there.
All right. So Sakapunto is trying to swim.
Okay, swim through the air.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Actually, it's a little late to ask now, but was there gravity on the on Tanith?
Yeah. So he's forced into the shape of like a space station. So I mean, he had a reactor. He had everything going on, but you don't. You guys just have a tiny pink Volk in the shape of a box right now. So you don't have any of that stuff. So Fitz starts frantically looking through the screen. He's like not paying you guys a lot of attention again.
Right now, I'm trying to think, what shape would Lulu be in if weightless?
I mean, that's up to you, but I would assume you still would. There's no reason not to have your humanoid shape, right?
Well, yeah, but like usually, like the bottom is defined by like being like a kind of a puddle-ish on the ground, if not normal human legs. So like I'm trying to think.
Maybe like an apparition where you just kind of have like a
like a genie bottom. Tail.
There you go. That would make sense.
All right, yeah.
So as you guys are puzzling over what Fitz is freaking out about, you guys are realizing that you don't really have any way to travel. And as you guys look outside the thin, translucent pink walls that are holding in what little oxygen you have left, you can see that the planet below, all that multicolored energy that you saw siphoning into the bottom of Tanith Station last time, is all kind of just, it's starting to build up and get thicker, so you can't see through it, almost like a fog. As fog gets thicker, the less farther away you can see. You're starting to not be able to see the surface of the planet below very well, as this rainbow-colored swirl of energy is almost forming like a thick shell around the planet below.
If I had a gold piece for every day I spent stuck in a pink slime, unable to watch as the world below me got foggy.
Well, maybe if I just fired a little bit, I could push us back.
Well, unfortunately, Shenanigans, you don't have control over any of your abilities. You can't talk. You can't do anything. You are in control. You are completely under the control of the stasis field, which is controlled by Fitz's device. Well, your guys' device that Fitz modified.
Sakapunto is going to wiggle as best as he possibly can over to Fitz and ask him, "Where are we going?"
And so Fitz looks up and at you. He's kind of floating there, trying to hold his spot as he's like sort of bouncing around like a pong ball inside the the vessel. And he's kind of looking at the device, and he just says, I'll explain later. Who wants to drive? Who wants to drive?"
I'll do it.
You say you want to drive?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Fitz pushes with his feet off of the wall that he's next to and kind of comes closer to you. And then he just says, just hit this button here. And he points to this large green button that he apparently wrote some new user interface on this device. So it's got a whole new section of the menu that you hadn't seen before.
Wait, how come you couldn't do it?
Well, I can, but I want you to be able to be ready for it.
Aren't I a little young to be piloting this?
Who wants to pilot the Shenanigans vessel?
I think Furlough should pilot.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I lean
sure.
over as best I can to Furlough. Let's pilot.
We've spent days being kind of driven around by this goofy ass little creature. Time for us to drive him around.
Nice.
Okay, so he passes you over the device and he points at the button that he wants you to press. Do you press it?
All right. We're already probably dead anyway because we don't have a lot of air in here. Let's do it.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Boop. So as you hit the device, wait, did you hit the button, Lulu, or did Furlough?
He did.
Okay. All right. So
I was offered it, but then I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I have a driver's license.
Okay. So Furlough, as you hit the button, suddenly the floor contorts into a chair, like right beneath you, and you like kind of scoops you up into it. So now you're in a sitting position, and in front of you, this pink slime console appears, just basically almost like a little podium, with a little slot in it that immediately slots itself right into the device you're holding out in front of you. So like holds it almost like a monitor display. Out of that podium appears like a sort of steering wheel that you can now put your hands on. And Fitz looks and he just says, just turn the wheel, and then you and press the gas. And then as he says that, a little gas pedal pops out of the bottom right of the podium. All of this made out of the pink slime.
Furlough just kind of looks around. This is definitely a very new experience. Well, okay, guys, where are we going?
What kind of role is this? Animal handling?
So as you guys are discussing where you should head to, you can see below you the planet below. The fog is getting even worse. It's like almost looks like just a big rainbow-colored sphere now. It's so thick it's practically opaque. You can barely see through it at all. And this energy buildup is just getting denser and denser and denser. And you can see that it's almost like it's getting closer to you guys because of the buildup.
Anywhere, just floor it away.
It was made clear to us that that is the planet that we live on, like with our
Yes.
homes and families.
The
and
planet
stuff, right?
below is the planet Toril, and that is where everything you guys know is.
But do we know that?
Yes, you do. It was made clear to
Okay.
you.
Sakapunto is going to look down, I guess you could call it down, at the planet and say, "Can we make it down there?"
as you say that, Fitz says, "No, we have to go to Torque or Terra," and he starts pointing off in the direction of out into the solar system where you guys can still see those other planets. There's like 2 other planets out there that you can see with varying moons around each one. And as you look out there, you watch one of the moons immediately explode, just like the one that was just next to you. It's far enough away that you don't feel anything, but you can see a bright light as the shockwave emanates outward from the planet that's on the left. So if the planets form a triangle, in the middle of that triangle is the giant multicolored structure that you guys could see, where all the energy in the solar system is being channeled directly into. And the one planet where the moon just exploded is on the left from your perspective.
So where was this Terra or whatever you called it? Where is it?
And he just says, "Just hit the gas! Just hit the gas!" He's just screaming now. He's just freaking out. The gases below you guys are getting thicker and thicker, and it's almost like it's like probably a few hundred feet away from you now as it builds up on the upper atmosphere.
So I'm going to make I guess it would be a persuasion check to try to calm Fitz down while I hit the gas pedal.
Yeah, I was about to say, is now the time to persuade?
Go ahead and roll. Okay, so as you go to try to persuade him to calm down and have him relax, below you suddenly see that a smooth rainbow-colored shell, almost like a jawbreaker or something. It's just this multicolored like sphere that's perfectly solid now. Suddenly you see cracks form across it. It just cracks almost like the shell of an egg, and then immediately it cracks and then falls away. All the energy like kind of falls away, leaving a bright white light that starts to emanate, and it's just.
Can I like reach out with a limb and just slam on the pedal myself?
Sure.
I do that.
Okay. So you reach out, you slam on the pedal, and then immediately the integrity field around Shenanigans kind of shimmers with like an electrical like shimmer, and it starts from the front around, and then it meets in the back, and this like line of electrical energy meets at the back of the box, like, and by back I mean the side facing the planet below, and it kind of all comes together at an apex and just kind of shoots this little electrical beam outward, almost like if you've seen a rocket flying through space and you see the trail of the rocket fuel being burned behind it. Except it's more like an electrical energy trail, and it pushes forward, and you guys immediately all get slammed against the back of Shenanigans, the back wall, as it starts to head out into the solar system, and you guys watch behind you as this shockwave is trailing like 10 feet behind you as the entire planet and everything you know explodes behind you.
What?
I told you.
So I didn't see any of that because as soon as we got slammed against the wall, I just pancake eyes. I assume.
Yeah. Well, so you can see out the back that you're pressed up against. Furlough is the only one that's buckled into a seat, so he's fine. But the rest of you are all.
This is nice. Everything is fine.
The rest of you are all at the back. I assume you would have intuitively stepped on the pedal now after Lulu went flying away from you, Furlough?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, I was starting to step on the pedal as I was trying to talk to Fitz.
Okay.
So yeah, now I am in charge. I am driving.
Okay, so Fitz is pressed up against the back, and he immediately hits another button on the display, and a bunch of other chairs pop up behind Furlough, kind of like the seating on a bus. You guys are still pressed against the back, though, so you can't make your way to them. But each of the seats have a little like slime ribbon for a seat belt, basically.
I want to say that if anyone is against the wall, like very close to me, like they start getting bits of like slime on them.
Yeah, Sakapuno has slime in his fur now.
Yes.
Okay, so as you guys get further away, you watch as the planet that you once knew is completely obliterated. The shockwave has dissipated, and now there's just nothing there but a bunch of like fine particle dust, just fine debris, basically, as it kind of coalesces into just this mist of debris. So you finally slow down for realizing that there's no danger out there, and Fitz kind of peels himself off the wall, pulls out the device, and then immediately straps himself into the nearest seat. Excuse me, you have the device. My bad. He walks up to you and looks at the device. And, we're going to have to retcon and say you hit the button on there to create the seats for Lo, because I wasn't thinking that the device was in the console in front of you. So anyway, he comes up and he's looking at the device, and he looks out in front of you. He goes, "See, I told you!"
Are we still against the wall, or do we slow down?
No, you're slowed down now. You guys are you're able to peel yourselves away from the back.
All right. I puddleize to the ground and reshape after a moment. Yeah, I look around and I see the stuff on Sakapunto. And I'm like, can I go back?
I kind
Also,
of
what just happened?
I hold an arm out.
And so Fitz is looking at the display, and he's like, "We really only have one choice. We can go to Terra or we can go to Torque, but Torque is where my family is, and I really want to see my family."
Can I make a perception check?
Sure. Go ahead and roll one.
All right.
You can drag that off your sheet, by the way. So if you double-click yourself, and then you go to your skills tab, you can just drag perception, the little box with the D20 on it. So I think it's +3 for you. You just drag that over to the chat. Okay. So what were you looking for specifically?
Just making sure that he's not like pulling our leg, I guess.
As far as you can tell, he's pretty sincere. He's really distraught. Though you do get the impression he knows more than he's telling you guys because he's so hysterical.
Would a 17 on passive perception pick up that he's not telling us something?
No, because he's not like lying. He's just hysterical. So you may pick up on that there might be more there if you ask him something. Like he might have some more to say to you.
Meanwhile, I'm getting my stuff back from Sakapunto.
After Lulu takes all of her goo back from my fur, I kind of turn back towards where the planet was, and I press my face against the ship just to see if I could see it better.
Uh-huh.
And then I turn back to Furlough, and I say, Does that mean they're all dead?
I don't fucking know.
Wait, what happened?
I point out at the planet, or where the planet was. I say, all of them.
Wait, what happened? What happened to the planet?
It's gone, right?
Fitz,
Oh.
here, you guys are confused. He immediately stammers and just, yes, it's gone. Everyone's gone. It's all gone. And he just kind of starts to sniffle a little bit, and he just says, without Tanith Station, the energy imploded upon itself. The whole mass is gone. Everyone on it's gone.
Sakapuno just sort of sinks towards the closest seat that he can and just says, oh, I guess they're all gone. And he straps himself in.
So I'm going to try to talk to Fitz again. And I'm going to try to get him to kind of start from the beginning, explaining exactly like how that station got there and what exactly that energy transfer was, and really just try to figure out everything he knows. Nope.
Ooh, good one.
No.
So go ahead and tell me what you ask. Like roleplay it for me.
All right, Goblin. So what the fuck actually just happened?
So he's just sitting there sobbing, and he kind of just doesn't even hear you, and he's flipping through menus on this device, and at this point it's like, when someone is like in a confrontation or something and they're pretending to be busy. It's kind of, you get the impression he's just flipping through menus just haphazardly. He's not even doing anything, and then finally he looks up through like teared eyes, and he just says, I don't know why the second station should have been able to absorb all the energy from Omar. And he just keeps talking about this, how the station wasn't able to compensate for the loss of some second station. And he just keeps going on. If only we had the second station.
I reach a hand out to pat Fitz on the back, and I say, small man, where is your home? Where is your family? Let's go there.
I come from Torque. We should go to Torque if you want us. If you're willing to take me to my family.
And I nod to Furlough and say, they're all dead. Let's go to Torque.
So when he was pointing toward Torque, he was pointing to the. So if there's a flat triangle out in front of you where Toro was the corner you were on, the left corner from out where you're looking was Terra, where the moon that you saw just exploded, and Torque would be the one on the right of the triangle, so the opposite one.
All right, I guess we're going.
Okay.
Not like we have shit else to go.
Yeah, I go back to my seat, just still trying to process what just happened. By the way, it's a good thing I wasn't alive not long enough to miss anything there, I guess. Right?
Oh, yep. As far as you know, yep.
Yeah, I still have Nelly, right?
Yes, you do.
All right, I go over to my seat and I take out Nelly and just kind of hold Nelly.
Okay, so this little, I think we described it as yellow, right? Like a yellow slime?
Yes.
Okay, so this little like yellow slime, just like this little ooze. So think of just kind of like an oval type shape. Comes like protrudes right out of Lulu's belly and then just kind of starts to sit on her lap, enjoying being snuggled, basically.
I look over, or Shakapuna looks over at Lulu and asks, "Is that your egg?
What's an egg?
It's something to eat. Are you eating that egg?"
No.
I hold Nelly closer.
Nelly forms kind of a sort of little like stubbed tail and kind of wags it, almost like it's just like
Sakapunto
wiggling its butt
grumbles.
like a little dog almost.
Sakapunto grumbles, "I just wanted some egg."
Well, sadly, I think Goblin Boy over here just blew up any eggs in the known world. So let's go and see what they have there.
Why do you keep on calling him a goblin?
You mean gnome?
They're all the same.
Okay. All right, so he upon hearing that, Fitz immediately looks up at you and finally like actually paying you some attention, and it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. He starts to continue on about he tells you the black spider forced me to. He said he would hurt my family if I didn't maintain his machines.
Who is this black spider?
I don't know. It's just where I get my orders from. My orders come from I forget his name. I have it in my notes. Oh, from
Imagine if like animated parts of this get animated. I can just imagine Fitz saying that, and like he pulls out a book like.
Oh yeah, here we go. I get my orders from Gerald. He brings them from the Black Spider, supposedly.
Well,
Quick question: is
here's-
Javier in here with us?
Yes, he is. So Havabeer has strapped himself into the seat, and as usual, he's been complaining the whole time, and he's just like, we gotta get out of here, and we gotta get paid. We gotta get something going on. I can't believe everything we left behind is just gone. We gotta figure out what really happened. He's just been sitting there, just complaining and bitching and moaning.
I
Worrying
just
about
imagine
money
he'd have
when
something to say.
okay.
Wait, he's
I
worrying
am-
about money when everything you could spend money on just got blown up.
Yep.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to intimidate
Fitz.
Fitz.
Okay.
I'm going to say, so what you're telling us is that you decided to just kind of go along with what you were told and blow up our families so that you could go see yours. And I kind of glare at him.
Okay, go ahead and roll an intimidation check for me. So he catches your gaze, and he's very aware that you're upset at him, and he kind of just wipes away some tears off of his face, and he stops for a second, just looks at you out of the side of his eye, and then he turns fully to look at you dead on, and he just says, "I didn't have anything to do with this. When I got there, the second station was already disintegrated. It already had a decaying orbit. I came there to maintain Tanith and take care of Tanith and save your planet. And I couldn't save it because apparently the station couldn't absorb all the energy from Omar without the second station there to buffer it."
Someone want to do a perception check on that?
Yeah.
To see if he's lying. Okay, so as far as you can tell, he's not lying. He's sincere. He's upset, and now he's getting his bearings enough to tell you how he feels instead of just crying. Do you do anything else?
No, I just continued to kind of half glare at him the entire drive.
Okay, so after saying that and not getting any kind of response other than a glare, he walks up and he hits a button on the display in front of you, Furlow, and he says, "There! That's the system!" And then you see like this system appear, like this diagram of the system, and you see that there's little icons for 3 of the planets, and they have little labels over them, so you can see Torque is the one that you're headed towards. You can even see, it's almost like a GPS, you can see right where you are in the system. And then you can see over there to the left is another planet called Terra. Terra it's super green, like the whole planet is super green looking. Torque is almost kind of brown looking. You can't see super high detail, but kind of brown looking. And then Toriel has more of a blue-white hue. Think of more like Earth the standard like atmosphere you're used to seeing when you picture Earth. That's what Toro looks like on the diagram. And so as far as the diagram's concerned, Toro's still there. It doesn't know that it's exploded. And so he says that's the system. He's like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that he's siphoning energy out of this into his own universe.
Question: does Lulu know about this black spider business stuff?
So you've heard them talking about the fact that they've been looking for this black spider guy. I don't think in character you've actually asked them why they're looking for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the chance and say,
What's this black spider thing you guys have been talking about?
So Hava Beer immediately pipes up and he says, "Well, we were going to get paid by Elmar, was it? He was going to pay us. He paid us for the wagon load, and then he was going to pay us to find our pal Gundren, who hired us in the first place. And then we found out he was kidnapped by goblins, and apparently those goblins work for the Black Spider. And then we found the Red Brand gang in Phandalin, and apparently they work for the Black Spider too. And so we managed to coerce one of them to give us the location of where they get their orders from. And that's when we found you."
So, I mean, if the planet blew up, then problem solved?
Maybe. I still don't buy the planet being blown up. I've seen my eyes fooled before.
Probably by every bar witch you've ever met.
You know what, Stabby? I'm about to come over there and set you straight.
Yeah, good luck.
He-
I have now seen enough of this world and the end of this world where I really don't think you could.
Havabir immediately stands up from his seat and kind of pulls the little slime seatbelt off of him and immediately reaches over his shoulder and grabs Terso's teeth off of his back and starts heading your direction. Well, he pushes off his seat and floats your direction, we'll say.
Oh, look at that. Floating water boy.
Do you do anything about it?
First, I persuade him to calm back down. It's like, sit down. We're in this together. Besides, you miss me and rip a hole in the ship, we're all dead, you dumbass.
Okay. All right. So he stops for a sec, and he just says, "You better watch yourself. I'm not in the greatest mood." And then he sits down in the seat right behind you.
I really don't think any of us are, old friend. So, Gnome Boy, you mentioned something that intrigued me. You said that the Black Spider is siphoning energy into his own universe. If that's the case, do you think it would somehow be possible for us to eventually find a way to reverse it, siphon the energy out of his universe, and wipe out all of his universe?
Fitz looks at you, puzzled for a sec, kind of has a face of he's thinking about stuff, and I don't know. I don't know the physics behind it. I just know he comes from somewhere else. I know he doesn't come from our universe or our reality or something. I know he just wants our energy.
I just sit there and I think for a while.
So as you guys get closer to Torque, you see the planet as it gets bigger in your viewport, and you also see the diagram change to update your location on the device in front of you. And you see that this giant planet it's got this completely brown hue with some little blue patchy spots here and there, perhaps water. As you get closer, though, you see 6 stations, all of different colors that look exactly like Tanith Station. Except only one of them is green. There's a blue one, an orange one, a red one, and a purple one.
Oh, good. We have all the colors of the rainbow surrounding a rock of shit.
And so you can see the 6 stations are perfectly positioned, like one at the North Pole, one at the South Pole, and then 4 all around the equator, equidistant from each other. So basically forming kind of a diamond around this planet. They're all in geosynchronous orbit too, you notice, meaning that as the planet turns and you see the surface below, the stations are in orbit at the same rate, and so they're always looking at the same face of the planet's surface. And then just as before, they're all siphoning tendrils of energy, except for the energy here it's kind of got a rainbow tinge to it. It's not such a strong rainbow color. It's got a rainbow tinge, and then it's other than that, it's kind of this white hot light that's being drawn off of the planet below and kind of swirling up to the bottoms of these stations. And then all 6 stations have separate beams emanating out into the center of the solar system. Think Death Star style laser beam where all the points connect and then kind of emanate out into the middle of the solar system into that big structure.
Huh.
Did you guys say or do anything, or?
I'm just chilling over here with Nelly.
Okay. So Fitz unbuckles himself and walks up to the display, and he just says, just take us down right here, and he taps Torque, the planet Torque, and it pops up this big display of the planet, and then he kind of spins it around a little bit and taps a spot on the surface, and immediately the whole thing just starts. The Shenanigans ship basically starts to kind of shake and vibrate as you start to enter the upper atmosphere. And he taps another little button in the top right, and it's almost like this sort of touch dial. So he kind of takes two touch tap, and kind of spins this dial, and dials up the integrity field holding Shenanigans together. And he just says, "I sure hope this works." Anything
Well,
else?
I guess
Squeeze
we're
holds
about
onto
to
his
find
chair.
out.
All right, so everyone's strapped in then.
Okay, everyone, pepper your Angus.
All right, so you guys start to. As you get closer to the planet, you can tell the gravity is kind of taken over, and you guys are now falling through the atmosphere. He hits another button on Shenanigans, and the square shape that Shenanigans was in now becomes a sphere, all perfectly surrounding all of the chairs that you guys are strapped into. And so he turns into this sphere and kind of falls through the atmosphere like a cannonball. And then as you guys bottom out of the lower atmosphere, you can see that the heat around the integrity field is kind of flaring. You just been able to see this big giant heat. What's the word I'm looking for? Just this like big heat shield looking effect at the front of Shenanigans as you guys enter this atmosphere. And then Fitz, as you guys finally get through the rough part, the highest friction part of the atmosphere, Fitz comes up and he hits another button on the display, and then immediately this thin pink slime parachute pops out the back, and you guys suddenly screech to a halt. You're all yanked against your slime seatbelts as you guys immediately your momentum is slowed, and you guys are now slowly falling down below. And as you guys look down to the surface below, you can see that the entire surface is covered in technological wonders. So think of like steampunk style structures, like gears, and everything's kind of got this brown goldish tint to it. And you can just see as far as the eye can see, just all these brown, weird, gold-looking structures, lots of different things. You can see what maybe you can determine as residential areas with lots of small little buildings that look very similar. It's hard to see because everything's super small. You're not that close yet. But one thing you do see is littered across the entire planet's surface, as far as you can see from where you guys are these giant skyscraper-like structures with these big blue orbs on top, emanating some kind of energy from them. And you can see that all the energy from these like basically what are pylons, skyscraper-sized pylons sticking out of the ground. They're kind of like shooting this energy into the upper atmosphere, and it's the same energy that's being swirled up and harnessed by all the stations around the planet. And so as you guys land, you're coming super close to one of the pylons. So you probably end up landing about 3 to 5 miles away from this big giant pylon. And you guys come down in what seems to be some kind of forest, except the trees are all the leaves on the trees in this forest are like brown. Just like the trunks. They're all a very monotone color. And you guys kind of touch down and just with a clink as you guys hit the ground. And it's almost like this metal sheeting on the ground that you guys come in contact with.
You must construct additional pylons.
Once we're settled on the ground, Sakapuno stands up from the chair and presses his face against the glass again. Well, the goo again, like a kid looking in a window. Oh, this is amazing.
And so as you're looking out the side of Shenanigans, and you're watching the trees, these weird brown trees with big brown leaves, and they're almost like, think of like a low polygon count render of like what a tree would look like. And that's what they look like, sort of like palm trees. But you can start to get the impression that they're made of like some sort of alloy or metal. And as you're watching them, two little birds with a bunch of little gears in them go flying by, and they're just kind of They make a weird sound. They're like flying by, and their wings are flapping super rapidly. But you hear like this weird like kind of clockwork sound as the birds fly by.
Is this what Factorio is? Wow. I didn't expect to find a place like this in this campaign.
So Furlough, as you guys touch the ground, you see the screen suddenly flash with the integrity field, and you can see the integrity field is registered at 3%.
Yeah, guys, we should probably get out of here. I think Slime Boy is going to go back to his normal annoying self.
So you see it's holding, though, at 3%. It seems like you barely made it through the atmosphere with a little bit of integrity field intact, but it's still holding him in place, and you see a giant release button flashing below it.
I pressed the release button.
No!
All right, so you hit release, and then immediately you see this like flash of electricity around the sphere that you guys are on. The bottom of the sphere is like flat against the ground now. And it's just kind of.
Can I interrupt really quick? I really quickly take Nelly back.
You what?
I really quickly take Nelly back.
Okay.
I have a bad feeling about this.
All right, so Nelly's just like, and it's like runs back inside your slime body and for safety, and then suddenly this electrical energy just kind of. This effect kind of goes around Shenanigans, and immediately Shenanigans shrinks back down to Shenanigans' size, and you guys all kind of go, just kind of shooting out the side of him, and so your guys are forming a circle around him, and now he's now back to being a tiny Cyborg size, as you guys kind of slide through him.
And we all take
What did I miss, guys?
And we all take one. We all take 1 point of poison damage.
So Shenanigans, you were aware of everything that was happening. You just couldn't
I was
do
aware?
or say anything. Yeah,
I'm gonna say, what's the gnome's name?
Fitz.
Fitz! I'm so sorry to hear about your story, and I'll walk up to him with my arms ready to embrace him with a hug.
And so, do you hug him?
Is he embracing me?
So he's just standing there. He's not resisting you. He's not expecting you to hug him.
I'm gonna wrap my arms around him, and then I'm gonna consume him.
Okay, so you wrap your arms around him, and immediately your toxic slime like starts to sizzle on his skin. He's ow, ow, ow! Let go! He starts screaming.
I'm gonna consume him into my body.
Jesus Christ! Let's see. He's going to be fighting against you, so I need you to basically roll a grapple check, which I think is athletics.
I think that's advantage with me.
Yes, it is.
What are you doing?
So I can do that from my character sheet now? I can just go to what?
Hold on. I'm looking up grappling real fast. I have this cool...
Rainbow, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He blew up our fucking planet.
Let's see.
not.
With
Of course I'm
freehand,
gonna
you
do
try to
this.
seize the target by making a grapple check, a strength, athletics check, contest. Okay, so you need to make an athletics check for the grapple,
Okay.
and then he can make a athletics or acrobatics check to fight it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll this guy. Okay, well, let's see what
Nope.
your roll is.
Oh.
That's +3. I didn't add the +3.
Can I just say, Rainbow, this is literally the only guy that we know here.
And he's dissolved.
Okay, so you easily absorb it, and you guys all just hear. Does anybody do anything?
Sakapuno
Yeah.
stands
So
there, honestly.
I quickly decide that this is probably going to be a problem, and I shout and try to persuade Shenanigans that he needs to let the gnome guy go.
You didn't do a roll?
But meanwhile,
Wait.
while I am doing that, you also see me start to draw my rapier out.
Alright, do I need to roll anything for the persuasion, or is that just...
No, but you need to decide. He rolled a 19, which is pretty high, so you need to probably respond accordingly. But you are your own character, so I will decide you can decide what a 19 means to you. Does it convince you or not?
I'm gonna say, well, what reasons do you have for me to let this planet story out of my digestive system?
Literally, he is the only person we know here. He is the only person who knows how to get around. He is the only point of contact we have to anywhere that can help us. And he's probably the only one who knows how to get us to the Black Spider to get revenge for this.
I say, okay, but he's staying with us, and if he's no help, he's going back in, and I'm eating him.
Yeah,
I
that's fine. And if he causes problems, then yeah, go ahead and eat him. But for now, let him go.
He just kind of flies out on the ground, covered in a little bit of residual toxic sludge. He's like coughing up little bits of slime.
I was going to try to say like I was going to try to tug him out forcefully.
Okay, well, he managed to talk him down before you could, so he comes flying out onto the ground and coughs, and then he stands up and he just, why? I didn't do anything to you.
All my loot was on that planet, you jerk.
He kind of, you can see tears welling up in his eyes again, and he's just like, I did it, I did it, it wasn't my fault, I promise it wasn't my fault. If I hadn't been there, it would have exploded a long time ago.
Slime boy.
Stay with us now, and if you don't help us, or if I find you not helping us all, I'm gonna eat you.
Slime boy, what the fuck loot did you even have? All you had was whatever you had inside your body. You were literally born yesterday. What loot are you talking about? You're sounding worse than fucking Have-A-Beer right now.
Have-A-Beer says, hey!
I had a collection of skulls, I had a collection of feet and hands, a collection of bones, and some nice meat.
To be clear, you don't know anything that happened before you were reborn.
I'm pretty sure, weren't we on the planet before?
He does still have his same inventory, because he basically absorbed Razzmatazz' inventory. So he does know what he has.
Do I have the personality of a goblin?
So you have a similar personality to Razzmatazz, but you don't actually know that. You don't have any memories from Raz, you don't have anything. The only remnants you have from Raz are supplies that are just on your person now for whatever reason, and you don't know why. And then you can try to concentrate on maybe thinking of a vague memory you have from long ago, but...
Oh, and Glitters. Glitters was on Earth, you son of... I mean, not Earth, but our planet, you son of a bitch.
And so Have-A-Beer pipes up and he says, who the fuck is this Glitters you keep talking about?
Oh, she's my best friend since childhood. You're just too stupid to see her.
Yeah, I'm too stupid.
So... Do I, as a Seinvolk, have any like understanding of what Fitz just went through?
I mean, sort of. You sort of have, like, you have an intuitive understanding of kind of your nature a little bit. You may not necessarily know that he was, like, basically burning because it was toxic, though.
Yeah. I try to gently go over to Fitz and say like,
Hey, sorry about that. Not all Seinvolk are like that.
As you walk over to Fitz, two little birds kind of do like one little circle around all of your heads, and you guys all get a good look at the birds, and the birds just have little gears on their wings, just like tick, 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 as they kind of fly by.
I would like to make an athletics check to reach out and snatch one of the birds out of the air.
Okay, go ahead.
oh, is it that close?
Yeah, they're like right down your head, right down by your heads. They just they do like a little circle around you guys and then try to fly away.
Ooh, that sounds. Right. I kind of want to do a grappling check too.
Okay, so there's two birds, so you both are gonna reach for one.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll Sacapunto.
Nice.
20. Okay, so
check,
Sacapunto is immediately like looks up, and you immediately grab one of the birds just with ease. You just snatched out of the air.
And while holding it firmly, I just turn it around and look at it.
And then it's just kind of trying to flap its wings to get away, but looks like a toy, like almost like a wind-up toy is kind of how it feels to you. Like, Sacapunto may not know what that is, but you do. And so it's like this little like mechanical construct.
Is this a grappling check?
Yeah. Roll me a
Sweet.
athletics check.
Oh.
As one little bird flies over your head, two more join it as they kind of just and immediately they like their little like mechanical beaks open and they're just like and they're just like being all happy and flying around you, and you kind of form into sort of like a chalice looking shape, and you just the bottom part, the skinny part of the chalice just kind of lunges upward, pushing the cup part of the chalice, and then you kind of close the top of the chalice over these birds, and you are now like in the shape of sort of this sort of like chalice-looking shape, except the chalice part, the cup part, is like a sphere containing these three birds, and they're just like inside you, like kind of freaking out, flapping their wings, and just like don't know what to do. They're just like stuck in this slime.
First of all, can we acknowledge that I got a double natural 20?
Oh yeah, you did. Nice. Well done.
Last time I did this, I suffocated a guy to death. Yeah, well, actually, yeah. First of all, guys, not all of you are there, but I actually did get a double natural 20 before.
You
So
hear
as
that?
this is
dice
going
aren't
on,
weighted.
I'm gonna cast Barnfire at the ground, and I'm gonna start sleeping.
You're gonna start sleeping.
I'm gonna take a long rest.
All right, and speaking of which, you guys can tell that it's sort of midday as far as where the sun is positioned and relative to your guys' location. You look up and you can see the sun. It's about noon, and also as you look up, you can see kind of the swirling energy that we keep talking about forming in the sky. It's hard to see beyond the blue sky. But if you're paying attention, you can see it, and you can kind of just see it like emanating upward and swirling. And you can see nearby, probably just a few miles away, that a bunch of this energy is almost like shooting out of this pylon that you guys can see. It's huge. It's a super tall pylon structure, and you guys can see the energy just kind of swirling out of the sphere at the top into the upper atmosphere.
Guys,
I'm already asleep.
guys,
Okay.
you know what I just realized?
Hmm.
I literally went over to Fitz. I said, "I'm sorry about that. Not all Time Walker do that." And then immediately after I say that, I
Yeah,
look
so-
up, go, "Ooh, cool clockwork birds."
You absorb 3 birds immediately. They're inside you. They're flapping around and stuff, but they can't get out because you're just holding them in place.
Ooh, can I like compress them? Like not really compress, but like condense the air bubble they're in into like how big are these? Would you say?
Probably the size of like your average robin.
All right, I condense these. I condense like make like an air bubble of like let's say about the size of a beach ball.
Okay, so the
I-
the chalice part that's now the where it was a cup is now a sphere, and now you've expanded it to be the size of a beach ball and filled the inner part with air.
Well, just the air that was already in there. I just kind of hold it out in front of me and look
Okay.
at this, and I turn to Fitz and go,
What are these?
Okay, so you turn to
Are these
Fitz,
pigeons?
and a little mouth forms on the side of the sphere. It says, "What are these?" as these 3 little mechanical birds are flying around.
No, I mean like I reform myself. I'm just holding this in my hands.
Oh, okay. So the sphere part forms into a sphere that you're holding as a humanoid shape.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're holding it out in front. I like the other version better, though. You're holding it out in front of you, and you're just like, "What are these?" And these birds are flying around inside this beach ball sized sphere, and they're kind of just almost like bouncing off of the sides of the sphere inside there as they encounter them. And Fitz just looks, but he just says that they're robinos.
Robinos?
Can I
Don't you
eat
know
them?
Don't you know?
Is it a knife?
I'm going to turn to Furlough and I'm going to try to hand him this bird and I say, I think I brought you food. Are you hungry?
I really don't think that's food per se. At least certainly not for people like us.
I'm going to
That's-
sniff it.
You're gonna sniff it? Okay, so you sniff it, and it just basically smells like something made of metal. Like there's just this little metal construct, basically.
Well, I guess I can't eat it. And then I immediately launch it up into the air, like straight upwards.
Okay, roll me an athletics check, please. Okay, so you throw it up in the air, and it makes it up where you guys can barely see it, and then it kind of just looks like it just flies through the air, and then finally is able to get control of itself and kind of shakes its head and shakes itself off a little bit, and then starts flying around again. You just hear that little tick 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 as the gears keep turning on the sides of the bird.
And then I turn to our gnome friend and I say, where can we find food?
And so Fitz says, "This way. We're right near the town. We're right near the base of Mecca."
I ask Fitz, like showing him these Robinos. I'm like,
So what can you do with these Robinos?
And he just looks at you like totally confused, like, why are you asking? Why do you guys care about these birds, basically? And he's just like, I don't watch them fly.
They look kind of cool. Are they alive?
And he's just he kind of just ignores your question, like, what a stupid question, and just keeps walking. Follow me.
So
You have to
if you guys are
understand.
gonna walk, you're gonna have to carry me because I've been haven't been able to rest since 10 days. So I kind of passed out and went to bed.
Wait, what? How long were we in the ship for?
Yeah, you haven't even been alive for 10 days, Rainbow.
We was in space for 10 days, were we not?
No, you
No,
were
10
not.
days is from when we first accepted the thing from Gundren
Yes.
to today.
Yeah.
I thought you said that we was in space floating around for 10 days.
No, you misheard me. The entire campaign so far since we began has been 10 days about.
Okay.
But it did take you, the better part of a day to get here. So you're probably on almost day 12.
Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted, so I'm a sleepy. So you guys have to carry me there or stay there with me?
I don't think anyone wants to carry a toxic Simvolk.
Yeah, you literally just woke up like the day before Shenanigans, or the day before that maybe. So, and you haven't taken a long rest at all since you became a slime?
No, and then when everyone else took a long rest, I couldn't because I was the ship.
That's right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you are pretty exhausted. So Shenanigans passed out on the ground immediately after those initial conversations. So you guys can see him there sleeping. You guys can leave him there, or try to pick him up, or prod him.
I'm a little
start to
preoccupied
walk
with my
away.
Robinoids.
Well, I start to walk away, but then I realize that he's still laying there and not coming with us. And I look to see if I have anything in my bag to carry him, or anything on my person.
Okay. What do you have in your inventory?
Let's see. So Sakapunto was shuffling through his things.
As you check through your inventory, can I use a perception check to see if I can tell whether these Robinos are like living creatures?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
All right, or would that be animal handling?
Perception.
Okay. Ooh, pretty good.
Okay, so you're examining them. You have a very good look at them because you have 3 of them trapped in your little sphere there. I mean, as far as you can tell, they are autonomous and they're flying around, but they seem to be made of metal. So it's up to you really to decide whether they're alive or not. Oh, excuse me. They behave like they're alive. Like if they were real birds, I mean, you wouldn't be able to probably tell the difference, other than the fact that they don't look like they're made of carbon.
Yeah, are they
Is one of
freaking
them
out?
named Johnny?
No. Unless
Are
you
they
name it
freaking out in
Johnny.
this?
Yeah,
Are they
they
freaking out in this orb? Or?
Yeah, they just keep bouncing off the walls. Like they're like chirping and just kind of flapping faster and faster.
I'm gonna just kind of calmly try to keep them in this orb until they calm down, because I kind of want to like see if they're friendly.
Okay. So they just keep
I'm a Pokemon trainer now.
they just keep bouncing off. They keep bouncing off the walls in there, and they're not losing any momentum at all. Eventually, you realize that they might not have whatever their power source is. If they have a power source, or if there's some type of perpetual motion machine, like you don't know. But they don't show any signs of slowing down. How long do you wait?
I'm just gonna kind of keep this orb with me.
Okay.
So while that's going on, Sakapunto pulls out his bedroll and he unrolls it and lays it down as close to next to Shenanigans as possible. And then he leans down right next to Shenanigans' ear area and yells as loud as he can, "Shenanigans! Roll over!"
Do you hear that, Shenanigans?
You gonna roll for how loud you scream?
Sure.
Roll for that.
Would
roll
be
a
performance.
Performance, yeah. Performance check.
Okay. Performance.
Okay, so super loud. So you're like almost like shaken awake.
I've never overthinking it's a food source.
You're what?
I've never overthinking that noise was a food source because I'm kind of out of it. So I'm gonna roll towards the noise that she yelled at.
Oh, okay. So you roll towards her.
So that would roll him onto my bedroll.
Okay, so he rolls onto your bedroll, and you see the sides of your bedroll start to singe.
I'm going to roll him up into my bedroll.
Okay. All right. So you slide the rest of the bedroll underneath him, and you roll hit like you in one swift motion. You roll him into it. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yep.
Okay. Roll me
Sort
a-
of like if you imagine a Swiss cake roll, and he's the filling, and the bread roll is the chocolate.
roll me another performance check. Actually, you know what? Roll me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Oh, that was
I
a
don't
little
think the
better.
bed roll's gonna survive this.
Yeah, I don't know that. Ooh.
Oh, it's a 20.
All right, so in one swift motion, is a bedroll like a sleeping bag?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mine's
so
canvas, if that makes a difference.
okay, so in one swift motion, you manage to take the opening of the canvas bag and slide it underneath him, and you suck him up into it, and you now have him in the canvas sack, and you kind of hear the sizzling a little bit, and you see like a little tiny bit of steam coming from the canvas sack, but it's a really thick sack, and it's not really affecting it at any great rate. So for the time being, you're able to hold him inside there.
And I very carefully carry that sack along with me, and then I start to follow Fitz.
Okay.
You're super sure you didn't have like a bottle or anything?
Nope, I don't. I'm a monk. I'm a minimalist. I got some like stuff for traveling, and that's it.
Okay.
You gotta start carrying like a fishbowl around with us.
All right. So as Fitz leads you guys through this forest, quote unquote, these like sort of metal trees. Everything, like I said, everything is brown. There's like brown and kind of goldish, tinnish tints everywhere. And as you guys approach, you kind of come out of this forest area, and you see kind of your last tree, and it turns into more of an urban area. And as you see to the north from where you are, you see this giant palace, like this almost fortress of a palace, and it looks just like whatever you would imagine a palace looks like, kind of these big, smooth, curved, bulbous shapes on all these towers around the outside. And it's got a large pillar in the middle that's kind of got all these perfectly curved, smooth. So if you look at the rest of the buildings, they've got very hard angles because they're basically like sheets of metal put together. Like I said, like think of like low polygon count graphics. That's kind of what everything looks like. But this palace is very smooth. It looks like it's made of the same material, this like brown and gold and stuff, that like metal alloy of some kind. But it's all very smooth and curved and forms all these very aesthetically pleasing shapes, unlike the rest of the buildings around you guys. The buildings around you guys look more like almost like a shanty town, like little shacks divided by very short streets. And the streets just have like this really like scuffed up and scratched like sheet metal plating for streets. And as you guys approach the town, you see lots of little gnomes running around. A bunch of them have like little spectacles on with like the different levels of zoom. They all look like they're very busy doing lots of different things. One of them's pushing like a little cart down the street. Another one is piloting like a little buggy as it goes down the street. And you can see just gnomes just doing all sorts of things. You do notice here and there a different type of, like you see a bugbear walk by at some point, and then another area you see a tiefling. And so you get the sense that it's somewhat diverse, but it's definitely heavily populated by gnomes.
It's gnomes doing gnome things.
And so Fitz continues to walk you into this little town. And he brings you guys in front of a small shack, and he just says, "This is where my grandpappy works."
Does he have food?
and he says, "Possibly. Let's find out." And so he knocks on the door, and he grabs like this little metal ring on the door and kind of clinks it against the door. Clink, clink. And then he just kind of sits and waits. You guys do anything in the meantime? It takes probably 30 seconds for someone to come to the door.
I
I'm
stand
still
there
just
holding my bag.
Yeah, I'm still just. Well, first of all, I have like a regular human form in terms of like having legs. That just to like freak as few people out as possible.
Okay.
But I am still holding this beach ball sized orb with 3 birds in it.
Okay. All right. And so the door slowly creeps open, and this like face of this older looking gnome pops out. He's got kind of a scruffy white beard. You can definitely tell he's older. And he's got kind of that old man hair going on, where he's got this white hair around that forms like a ring around a bald head. And he just kind of says, "Who's there?" And he pokes out. He's kind of squinting at all of you. You kind of get the impression he maybe can't even see you very well. And
I manage my best smile.
And Fitz just says, "Grandpa Chuck, it's me, Fitz." And he, "Oh, Fitzy, come on in," and he opens the door, and you just see kind of all these gears instead of just regular old hinges. There's just like all these gears forming, so these sort of elaborate hinges, and they kind of goes chick, 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 as he opens the door, and he invites you guys, all of you guys in.
I follow Fitz
Well,
in.
since I'm sleeping, I kind of need like a 5-minute break to use the restroom.
Okay, well, we can go ahead and take a break if you guys want.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good point for a break.
All right, let's take 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Whenever people get back,
If we're gonna be here for a while longer, I think 10 minutes would be appropriate.
Okay, let's take a 10-minute break then. We will meet back here at 9:05.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys just got let into the house of, what was it? Grandpa Chuck? I think he let you guys
Yes.
in? Okay, and then you guys all walked in. Okay, so as you guys walk in, you can see he's almost like he's almost like Geppetto. He's got like all these little mechanical dolls and stuff that he works on this little workbench. And he even has a few Robinos flying around near the ceiling. And you walk in with your orb of Robinos. And immediately the Robinos inside the sphere, they start chirping like they're trying to get out to the top of the sphere, trying to meet their friends, and the other Robinos start to immediately swarm the sphere, and they're flying little circles around it, and they're just chirping happily, like, "Yay, friends!"
Aw, that's wholesome. I release the orb and take the matter from the orb back.
Okay, so the orb retreats into your body, and immediately the three Robinos they chirp with happiness instead of annoyance as they are finally free, and they start flying around near the ceiling, and Grandpa Chuck looks at you or looks at the Robins and looks back at you, and he just, "Oh, thank you." And he kind of moves on with Fitz again. Thank
I
you
did
for
something
the
nice.
extra Robins.
Sakapuna looks around to see if there is a glass bowl big enough to set the bedroll down in.
So there's no glass in here, but you do see a large metallic bowl on this little table on the right side of the room, with two chairs by it. It's like one of those like end tables that sits against the wall.
All right, I'm gonna walk up to that metallic bowl and make sure. Is it empty?
So you look inside it, and it's got some dried fruit in it, like it's been sitting there for a while.
Okay, I'm gonna take the dried fruit out and set it down on the table,
Okay.
and then I'm going to pour shenanigans out of my bedroll as best as I can into this bucket.
Okay, roll a performance
just like
check.
wring it out. Do you just like wring it out like a towel?
Roll a performance check for me.
Yep.
So I look behind me and there's this dog just
It's a
staring
9.
at me because I'm eating popcorn.
Okay, so you pour shenanigans out of the canvas sack into this bowl that's on the table, and you kind of miss a little bit, and he's kind of half in the bowl and half on the table, and he's just you still hear this, he's got the same blood curdling snore that Razzmatazz had, just
Wait, why would this Cyborg snore?
because he's asleep.
But like we don't need to
It's like a
breathe.
chicken cross.
It's
the
some
road
other
kind
kind of
an answer.
mechanism, okay?
I bet he's just doing it because he likes to be obnoxious.
So I kind of look at the bit I dropped, and I'm just look to make sure nobody saw that I missed. And I pick up the bucket and I put it under the table, and I carefully scoop. And I know this is gonna burn me a little bit, so I kind of cringe as I do it. I scoop what I dropped into the bucket.
Okay. Alright, so you scoop up a little bit. I'm not even going to make you roll. It just stings a bit. It's like hot. It's like picking up a hot pot after you thought it was cool. You left it long enough to cool, but it's still a little too warm. It just singes you a bit. And you're just like, as you stick him back in the bowl. And then you put the bowl under the table? Is that what you said?
No, I'm gonna set it back on top of the table.
Oh, okay, back on top of the table. All right, so he's just sitting there, this bowl full of shenanigans, and there's some dead, dried fruit crap around on the table.
Did Sakapunto take like 2 points of poison damage?
Sure.
I was
Did I touch any of the food? And did I
If you
jump
really
any
want
of
a
that food?
tangible reminder of how much it stung, you can take a health point.
Oh, it hurts.
Did I touch
It
any of
burns
the
so
food?
good.
And did I get any tuition from the food?
Well, I took all the food
She
out
took
of
the
the bowl
food out.
first.
It's sitting on the table around you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's dried fruit, so it may not necessarily be awful. It just depends on what it was. You can't really tell. It's all brown.
Could be like
Oh,
raisins.
I know. So Sakapuno is going to pick up one of the pieces of fruit just randomly, kind of look it over a little bit to make sure it's not moldy.
Okay.
Other than dry, does it look okay?
Yeah, it looks like what you'd find in like a trail mix.
He's going to carefully set it into Shenanigans goo and then take a step back.
Okay, so Sakaputo takes his big bugbear hands and takes this tiny little piece of dried fruit and just gently sticks it in Shenanigans inside the bowl, and then you just kind of watch with glee as it just kind of goes. It starts to disintegrate into
And
Shenanigans.
I smile, a big bugbear smile, and I say, "It's a good baby."
Oh my god, that's amazing. I love it. You know what? You get inspiration. I've been failing at giving you guys inspiration. You get some inspiration for that. I love it.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay. So Grandpa Chuck comes over to the workbench and sets some tools down that he had in his hands. He sets a doll down and a small little screwdriver type thing onto this little workbench, and then he kind of hobbles over to this chair that looks like it's completely made of metal, just like everything else. And he kind of sits into this chair and then pushes a little button, and immediately this little piston on the side of the chair goes. And like the little footrest, like imagine this like a lazy boy with a footrest that you would gently release. Instead, it's just like flies out from the chair, and he kind of just lays back, puts his feet up on this footrest, and then just kind of lays back. And he's like, "It's just nice to see you again, Fitzy."
I decided to head over to Grandpa Chuck, and I introduced myself.
So how does Fitz look? Does he look like Freddy Krueger because he's been inside of me, or?
He's a bit singed.
Oh my God.
All right, so what do you
That
do?
took me a second.
I know, it took me too. So Lulu, what is it that you do with Grandpa Chuck?
I just introduced myself, like,
Oh,
Oh,
introduce
hello.
yourself. Okay. So you say, "Hi, I'm Lulu," and he opens one eye and he just says, "My, aren't you interesting looking why are you a male or a female?"
Is he also drunk?
One of those days.
And he just looks you up and down and he just whatever you are, welcome to my home. Any friend of Fitzy is a friend of Grandpa Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, he did save Timoth, so, yeah, I guess we're friends.
totally ignoring the fact that he might be responsible for blowing up the planet.
Well, Chuck at this point is basically half asleep, so he's not really hearing you anymore. He kind of closes
He's got one
eye.
foot in the grave already.
Yeah. And Fitz just says, "You said you were hungry?"
And that immediately gets Sakapuno's attention. I turn and say, "Food?"
Okay, come this way. Come to the kitchen. You guys
Over.
follow him. Okay, so he heads over around the corner in this little. So think of it like a mobile home, basically, like a little trailer, and so it's like kind of this almost like it's got like two compartments, almost like two train compartments, and he heads over to the left to this next compartment, and in there is a small little door with a closet with a small brown-looking toilet room, and then next to that is the kitchen. And you see just this table, this countertop, and then you see a small little like what you as players would recognize as like a stove, but all crafted out of the same metal alloy that everything seems to be built out of. And then there's like this old, imagine like a 60s style refrigerator, but built out of this steampunk tech.
Question.
Yes?
How big is the door
The door to what?
to the kitchen?
There is no door. You just go through a corridor into the next compartment of this little like mobile home looking place. It's the size of a mobile home, and you don't necessarily know if it's mobile. But you go into this next little like compartment area, and it's a kind of a bathroom kitchen combo.
Gotcha. Sorry, I thought you mentioned that we passed through a door to get here.
No, I mean there could be. You could imagine a door could be there, but it's an open corridor between the two compartments.
I gotcha.
The door, I did describe one door. There's the toilet room is basically behind a little door that happens to be open, so you can see into it. But think of like a tiny little coat closet with a toilet in it. That's really all it is.
Gotcha. Because if there was a door to the kitchen, I thought it was going to be a funny instance of like having some people be able to fit through. Others.
No. Nope. So you guys all follow Fitz into the kitchen, and he immediately he kind of just pushes like a little switch on like the refrigerator door, and it just kind of just shoots the door open, just as it flies open and everything. So it has like little door shelves like you imagine on a regular refrigerator, and everything in there just kind of shakes as it flies open and slams against the wall.
Oh, question. Can I be in the way of the door, not expecting that?
All right, fine. So the door.
What do I roll?
The door flies open.
What do I roll?
I don't know.
Athletics.
D20.
Yeah, just roll a not athletics, acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. Uh-oh.
Okay, so as the door flies open, you get squished between it, and you kind of have to pull parts of your body out from between the door and the wall.
Yeah, I just kind of like splatter against the wall.
Like a fly getting smacked.
Yes.
You guys can still hear the birds in the other room kind of flying around, that little tick-tock, 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 tick-tock sound that you hear from all the fluttering little metal birds. But as you see the door open, you can see all sorts of organic contents inside. And it's interesting because it's almost like there's little conveyor belts that are coming out of the back of this weird little refrigerator. So it's like not just like they open it and stick stuff inside. Somehow food is fed into this unit, into this refrigeration unit from the back. And you see this little tiny plate pull forward, and it's full of just like some weird crackers. And then there's another plate that pulls forward, and it's got some very bizarre looking fruit on it. But you guys can, it's pretty obvious that whatever's coming out of this thing is edible. So you guys are able to have at it.
Sakapuno uses two hands to reach for two fruits.
I pull myself together beside the door, like all the splattered mass. I pull it back together from the side to the door and reform myself, and just kind of I look woozy, and I'm just like,
Where's the leak, man?
Wait, where's what?
Where's the leak?
Yeah, it's the SpongeBob reference.
Oh.
Patrick gets like hit really hard in the head, and he's like, "Where's the leak, man?"
Okay, so you pull yourself back together after this encounter with the refrigerator door.
Yeah, the idea is just I blubber some nonsense from being dazed.
Okay, so he holds out these trays, and did you say you eat something, Sakapunto?
Well, I pulled two fruits, one with each hand.
Okay, so I assume you started munching on them?
I sniff them first, and then as long as they smell appealing, I take a bite of one and then the other.
Okay, so one kind of looking avocado piece is like it smells a little weird, but do you still take a bite anyway? It doesn't smell like anything you're used to.
Does it smell sweet at least, like the least bit sugary?
Not really.
I think I bite that one last then. What's the other one smell like?
Okay, the other one's definitely much sweeter. Kind of like a pear-strawberry combo. It's like this. It's a pear shape, but it's kind of red and got the texture of a strawberry.
So Sakapuno eats the sugary, or takes a big bite of the sugary one, and kind of munches on it like this is good, thinking kind of like
okay.
yeah. And then the other one that's kind of avocado-y, I go ahead and take a bite of that one too, and just kind of like
it's a little bitter.
Feel it around in my mouth and make a little face, and then swallow it and say,
"Yeah, it's okay. A little bitter, but it's not going to make you throw up or anything. It's not very appealing, but yeah, it's edible." And the strawberry thing is super sweet, even sweeter than you expected it to be. Your mouth kind of waters at the next bite.
So I continue to eat both of those, just taking a bite of one and then a bite of the other.
Okay.
One, back and forth.
All right, yeah. Cleanse your palate between each bite. All right, so you're sitting there eating back and forth. Do any of the rest of you reach for food?
When I gather myself back together, do I see like any like beef or anything?
Yeah. So the second shelf is basically all meat. At least from what you can tell, it looks like meat. It's definitely sliced up slices of something, and it's all distributed out, kind of just fancy on the plate, like like a circle, like a fan out type of pattern on this other plate.
I take one of these plates and I kind of look to Fitz expectantly, like for permission or anything.
Okay, so as you take a plate of these like slices of some sort of meat, and Sakapunta, did you just take fruit off the plate, or did you take the plate?
I took it off the plate. I just grabbed it, one in
Okay.
each.
So there's a
Okay.
plate still in there that has a little bit of stuff on it left for yours. But as soon as you take the actual plate full of like meat slices, this little conveyor belt inside just starts winding up, and then it brings in another plate from this compartment in the back, and another plate of meat appears.
I take the plate of meat, but I don't eat anything, mostly because I'm watching to see if any of my associates fall ill or drop down or anything after eating.
Okay.
Before I eat anything, I'm like looking to Fitz for permission or instruction or anything.
And Fitz just, as soon as he catches you looking at him, he's just like, "Help yourself! Help yourself!"
With that, I just kind of dump it into myself.
Okay.
I keep holding the plate, but I dump its contents onto it.
Okay, so you dump all the meat inside and just Hava Beer looking at this, he's just like, "That's disgusting," as he looks at you.
What do you expect?
Like, don't ever do that in front of me again, please.
I don't see what the big deal is.
He just kind of looks away and shakes his head like, "Oh dear God."
I hand the plate to Fitz.
Okay, and Fitz looks it over, and then he just kind of puts it back in the refrigerator, or sets it on the counter, I guess, since it was replaced. And he doesn't seem to be super hungry, and he just help yourself. You guys can consider this a short rest if you'd like.
All right.
Should I take a
You
long
can
rest?
peel off that poison damage.
Yeah, no, not a long rest, Rainbow, a short rest.
But I've been sleeping since they've been walking over there. So
Yeah, was he able to stay asleep while I
So
cake rolled him?
So the walk into town was only probably about 30 minutes, so you haven't been asleep long enough for a long rest.
I'm not stay asleep until I get a long rest.
Okay, well, so you're still asleep
He's
now.
fine, I
Whether you
fed
get a
him.
long rest or not is well to be determined. Okay. Sorry, what did you say before that, Sakapunto?
I just said he's fine. I fed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess we could. I guess Steinvolk would be able to eat while they're sleeping because it's kind of automatic.
All right, you guys can certainly try to take a long rest if you want to. It doesn't look like Grandpa Chuck's going to get up and go anywhere anytime soon.
I can imagine that at least digestion is automatic for toxic Steinvolk, considering they're toxic.
Well, I mean, Sakapuno did an experiment, and it looks like that hypothesis is correct. So,
Yeah. Are we actually, if we're trying to take a long rest, are we showing like any rooms that we can lounge about or anything?
Yeah, so you just have the two compartments, and where he has his like weird, basically mnemonic lazy boy. There's a bunch of other little chairs in there that don't look very comfortable, but
Is there like a tub I can?
let's see. Yes, there is. So if you look towards the back, like where the toilet room is, you see there's like a little curtain. And if you go over there and investigate, you will find there's a tub behind this curtain.
Gotcha. Is there a drain in the tub?
Yes, there is.
Remembering the pneumatic tube from the lab, I try to make sure that like this is closed or something. Is there?
You try to
like,
make
any
sure
way
that
to
it's
close it?
what?
Closed.
Making
or
sure it's
shut?
plugged up.
Oh, the drain. So the
Yes.
drain definitely looks open, but like, when you sleep, do you basically turn into a liquid?
I certainly can. I thought it'd be funnier that way.
Well, I just see if you have control over your shape, then you might like sink into the drain a little bit, but not necessarily fall into it. But if you literally turn into like a liquid and lose cohesion, then you would.
Yeah. On second thought, never mind on the tub.
Well, I'm sure there's a way to shut it if you just roll.
Yeah, but I also have 6 intelligence.
Let's do a investigation roll.
All right. Since you talked me into it, since I was convinced into doing it, may I do an investigation roll to investigate the drain?
Oh, sure. Yes.
13.
13. Okay, so you're looking to see if it's safe to get into the tub?
If there's any way that to shut it.
Oh, to shut the drain?
Yeah.
It's just a hole. Like, there's nothing in the way of it. So if you can find something to plug it with, you could, but there's no apparent obvious way to close it.
You should investigate for a plug.
I'm just gonna go back to the others.
Okay. Alright, so you go back to the others, and they're still, Sakaputo's still eating bites of one fruit and then another.
I'm just gonna try to find a nice spot on the floor to kind of just puddleize a little bit. I'm not totally it's not like if you dunked a bucket of water on the floor and goes everywhere. I'm still kind of in one particular place.
Okay.
Like
All right, so-
Alex Mack.
Like what?
He's too young for that, Mirama.
Oh, I remember.
I didn't even hear you.
Like Alex
You know what
Mack.
Alex Mack?
I don't know that.
I knew you wouldn't.
That's unfortunate.
What do you want?
Man, I loved Alex Mack when I was a kid.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
It's all good. So as you're trying to find a spot on the floor to kind of become sort of a partial puddle and relax, you are suddenly, all of you, including you shenanigans, are shaken awake by a massive sound above you and a shockwave that follows and shakes the whole building that you're in. Just everything in there is shaking, and all the birds are freaking out, and everything there's just kind of going crazy.
So, what rest did we take?
So you've gotten a short rest, at the very least. So you guys can all roll a short rest if you'd like. But as far as a long rest is concerned, you're being interrupted.
Oh shit. I don't like that. A moon probably just blew up again, huh?
That was a good guess, because as you guys file outside, you can see the remnants of the visuals of a shockwave in orbit above the bright blue sky. It's now probably about 3 in the afternoon, and you can see that there's just this giant debris field in the sky that's still kind of lit up. And that you can
Is
see.
Fitz with us?
Yeah, so Fitz ran outside with you guys, and he's just kind of...
Ah, Fitz, what have you done now?
He's kind of surprised Pikachu about the whole thing.
What have you done now, Fitz?
And he just says, our moon, our moon just exploded.
Yeah, why did you do that?
And then he's just, I don't know. The system is becoming unstable.
Well, we gotta get out of here, right?
Would you stop blowing up moons, please?
I'm not blowing them up. He gets really upset. He's just like, I'm not blowing them up. It's not me. Sorry, his voice
we
is
gotta get
very
out of here,
consistent. And he's just like, we need to see Queen Vera.
What's
Is
a
it
queen?
hard?
She's Queen of Mecca. She's the only one that'll know what to do. And he kind of, as you guys are outside now, he points toward that palace that you guys saw on the way in. The large,
what's a queen?
curved-looking palace. And he looks at you and then just kind of gets this look of disgust. Like he's just really sick of hearing your voice, and he turns back and he just says, we gotta see Queen Vera right away.
Look, in his defense, we were both basically born yesterday.
It's true.
I'm going to
Before we go anywhere, I want to go back into the building and try to see if I can bring my Robino friends.
Are you gonna try and grapple them?
Well, I want
Are you trying
wanna
to take
see
all
if,
4 of them?
I want to see if I approach them again, if they remember me and want to come with or anything.
Roll me an animal handling check.
Okay. Aha! So they are alive.
Maybe.
Ah, shit.
So you go in there and I guess what? Just put out your hands?
Yeah.
And nothing happens. They just continue to fly around the ceiling.
Ah. Well, they're goners. I head back out.
Okay, so as you head outside, the debris from the exploding moon is now starting to matte the atmosphere a little bit. Everything's getting a little dark outside, kind of like a partial eclipse almost, as the light starts to dim out a little bit. And you guys see the palace is not very far away. It's super close. But it is surrounded by a very large, huge, probably if it was it could be a 5-story building. if it was a building, but it's just a wall, this big metal wall. And then behind that, you can see windows through the wall where you're able to see the palace behind the wall. But like as you're right next to it, it just towers over the top of you. And there's there's windows that are basically covered by bars all along this wall, so you can see what's behind it.
How tall is the wall?
Like a 5-story building high.
It's like 50 feet ish.
Yeah, I'm not good at making estimates like that, but that sounds about right.
I'm gonna take my head off and I'm gonna put it on my arm and I'm gonna raise it up high so I can see better.
I don't think it's gonna help you very much.
So you raise it up and you can still just see the palace through the various ports in the wall where there's like a series of bars, like horizontal strips in the wall where it could form a window, but they're littered with bars so nobody can try and squeeze through it.
Can I try to
No
squeeze through it?
human.
You certainly can try to squeeze through it.
I have a bad feeling. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this, so I'm just pretty intent on getting over there really quick because I have a bad feeling about explosions now.
So you're trying to
Yeah,
go
I'm
through the window then?
How close are we?
You guys are right next to this big wall with these
Oh.
like ports in it. Yeah, so like you basically walked down the street like 20 feet and you're like right next to this giant wall. Like this little shanty town that kind of forms a perimeter around this huge fortress wall.
So yeah, I have a bad feeling about this. So like, I just kind of run ahead of the guys and just like,
Let's get going.
and I try to squeeze through the pipes or through the bars.
Okay, so
Okay.
me and Lulu squeezing through the bars.
Hang on.
You're both gonna try it at the same time? So go ahead, Furlough.
So I have a plan. Shenanigans, can you just like sit like with those bars in you for a little bit?
I'm gonna try to sit with the bars in me a little bit.
Okay, so so I was letting you interrupt just in case it was something before they could try to go through the bars, but they both try at the same time to go through the bars and immediately are met with electrical interference. You guys get shocked and it knocks you back a little bit.
So I'm gonna try to lean
Doesn't
against
feel
the
very good.
wall, the bars.
Does it hurt? Like, do we take damage or?
Like a static shock would hurt. Like ow, like
Oh.
nothing major. But
I'm
you
gonna try to
definitely
lean
can't go
against-
through it. You're gonna try and
gonna
lean
try-
against it?
Yeah, so I can corrode the bars with my toxics.
So you can't even actually touch the bars. As soon as you get anywhere close to them, there's like a field of electricity. And it just starts to shock you. And the harder you press, the harder it shocks.
So I have a flask of whiskey. I'm gonna just chug, and I'm gonna lean against the wall.
Okay.
All right, so you chug the whiskey. Let's go ahead and see how strong that whiskey was. All right, so you chug that whiskey, and because of your Simvolk nature, your Simvolk anatomy, the alcohol permeates your cells super fast. Like you're almost instantaneously drunk as fuck. And you lean up against the bars, and it's just like, and you're like, parts of the back of you are like singeing against this electricity, and there's like a little twirl of smoke coming off where he's getting singed, and you're just leaning up against it like, this feels really good.
Question: is there a front door?
Yeah, so Fitz has been waiting for you guys by the big front door.
I watch. Furlough watches this little fiasco with his slime buddies, and then just keeps walking up towards the door.
I follow.
As he passes Lulu and Shenanigans, he looks over. Some people just try to make things too hard.
Finally, Shenanigans, even being as drunk as you are, you realize that it actually is kind of hurting pretty bad.
And I get up and I follow them.
Okay.
Do I have to take health off or what?
Sorry, what'd you ask?
Do I have to take damage?
Yeah, so you took 10 points of damage from your prolonged exposure.
Yeah, I basically just followed them after my first attempt. I'm like, oh, that didn't work.
Okay, so you guys finally catch up to Fitz, and he's like, "What took you so long?" And he finally taps one of the guards, and he's like, "We need to get into seeing Queen Vera." And the guard looks down at him, and he just kind of chuckles a little bit. He's like, "Nobody's seen the Queen in over a year."
How big are these
And
guards?
These guards are bugbears, so they're pretty big. They're kind of built You know, they're standing there, and they have a bunch of plate metal armor, that same kind of brown alloy armor on them.
Ooh, I got an idea. Can I change my shape to try to look like one of them, and then try to persuade them like they're where I'm with them?
I'm gonna push one of them into the.
Just stop! I'm gonna stop you right there.
So you're gonna try and look like them?
Yeah, like change my shape to look kind of like them to try to convince them, like, hey, they're with me.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that with disadvantage.
Okay.
Roll a
Let's try
deception
that.
check with disadvantage.
Do I see what he's trying to do?
So you guys watch as he tries to form into a guard, just like one of these bugbear guards, and he's got a really fucked up bugbear face. Like this is the first time he's tried to do a bugbear, and he just kind of looks retarded a little bit, like yeah, like he just can't form the face properly. Like if you've ever seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine, like Odo's face, he can't do it right, something like that. Just like he can't really do it. But also, in addition to that, he just looks like a giant blue slime version of a guard. So he walks up, she walks up, and what do you do?
I just say,
Oh, it's okay. They're with me.
And the two bugbear guards look at you, and they immediately start laughing their asses off.
Okay, so I take a step back outside of the guard's view,
wait a
and
minute.
I use Furbolg magic to disguise self, so I actually look exactly like a guard.
You did this out of their view, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
I was gonna ask, are they laughing so hard that we can get past them?
Right. Would it be a stealth check or a deception check? Probably a stealth check, right? Or maybe
For what?
I think it would be deception. For your, what do you have to do for that? Is there a roll that you have to make?
No.
Oh, okay. So you just do it, and it's just, does it tell you how convincing it is? Like it's just perfect?
It's essentially perfect. If things like physically interact with a part of the illusion that really aren't in reality there, they would potentially pass through. But to discern that it's actually disguised, they actually have to be able to very severely inspect my appearance and have to succeed on an intelligence check against my spell save DC.
Okay.
You guys do realize that we have an actual bugbear with us?
Listen, I have an intelligence of 6.
So I want to walk. I let Furlough finish his thing because I'll just follow behind him for a second.
I just have one question really quick though, Chev.
Okay.
Are they laughing so hard that we can just walk past them?
No. They're laughing. They're staring at you and laughing. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, are you serious right now? Like, they pretty much are convinced you're just kidding.
Okay.
Are they laughing so hard that they die like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No.
No.
All right.
I just formed back into my normal shape.
Let Furlough do his thing, man.
Alright.
All right. So what do you say to the guards?
I walk up to him as these things landed in some kind of thing outside of town. We wanted to bring them in to visit to check with the Queen. We believe that they might have some information on what just happened there with the moon and what's been going on recently with things in the sky.
So they both stop laughing and look at you, and they're just like, "Who are you?" The one on the right says that. The other one kind of folds his arms like, "Yeah."
I take my normal shape back, by the way.
I was a recent transfer into the guard, pulled in from the outlying areas.
They look you up and down, and one of them, the left one, he just kind of squints at you like, like I've never seen you before, and then he kind of looks over at his buddy, and his buddy's just like kind of shrugs like, oh no, and he's like, okay, and then he leans over and he starts to twist like this big steering wheel like thing, like a valve release, like if you've ever turned a valve in a video game, just kind of he just turns it to the left counterclockwise. And then this door begins to contract with each turn. So he's just like, and the door goes, and then it keeps opening until finally it's got about like 10 feet of space. It's like a pretty wide doorway.
Excellent. Thank you for your cooperation. Come on, you group, this way.
I'm gonna hop on Have a beer's back.
And Bear immediately, he's like reaching up to grab you, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
I'm too drunk to walk.
Why, you get off me, you're burning my shoulders.
You don't even need dexterity to walk. You don't have to have legs.
Yeah, you could just turn into a ball and roll in.
he kind of grabs at like parts of you and just kind of tries to pull you down.
I'm gonna try to roll in, even though I'm really, really drunk.
Okay, so you form like kind of this oblong shape, thinking that you're a sphere, and you kind of just as you roll in,
like a rolling like a football.
Yeah, basically like a football. Perfect.
As I pass by the guards, I offer one a high five, trying to like play it off like, yeah, that was totally a joke.
You put your hand up, and he just kind of looks at you like, okay.
I just left hanging as I walk past.
Yeah.
You were denied the highest of 5s.
And as you pass the doorway, he starts to turn that valve the other way, and the door starts to close.
As El Sacapunto walks past those guards, he purposefully avoids eye contact.
Sorry, he purposely avoids eye contact?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you walk by them and you don't make eye contact. You guys do anything else once you're inside, or are you just waiting for Fitz?
Waiting for Fitz. Is he coming?
I'm gonna burp as loud as I can. I'm gonna roll for how loud I burp.
Would that be a performance?
It's mediocre. Alright, so Fitz is in front of you guys, and so you guys are brought into this courtyard, and for the first time, you actually see grass, organic grass, like not actually metal. And it's so you have these metal pathways leading up to these giant, massive steps that lead up into this palace. But on either side of the pathway, it's actual green grass that you guys are seeing.
So on the way out, I'm gonna turn into Lulu and say, I'm not sure it was a great idea to have all that whiskey.
You don't say.
That might be the only intelligent thing you've said since you woke up, Shenanigans.
Alright, so you guys make your way to the base of the stairs, and Fitz starts to walk up the stairs, and is immediately stopped by two guards on either side of the stairway about halfway up that put their these big metal polearm things right in his way, kind of crossing each other, and they just said, "No one beyond this point." It's two more.
I will take one chicken that's fried. I'll take one chicken that's fried, please.
They don't pay any attention to you. They're stopping Fitz, who's in the front, and the rest
I walk up to Fitz and I look over at the two guards. It's like as you were, we believe that this group might have some information that can help us figure out what's been going on and what just happened with the moon and what's been going on in the sky recently.
One of the guards immediately looks at you and looks you right in the eye and just says, "Do you have an appointment with Queen Vera?"
These are urgent matters. The decision was made to bring them before the Queen as soon as we could, given what just happened, and I motioned towards the sky.
And he looks up at the sky and sees all the debris getting darker and darker. That's still the afternoon, yet it's looking like it's dusk almost. And he thinks for a second, and then he lifts up his polearm and lets you guys pass.
Yay!
Okay, so you guys keep walking up the stairs, following Fitz, I assume.
Yep.
All right, so Fitz gets up to this giant entryway, and this entryway. So everything now that you're at the palace, where everything is curved and stuff, it's like all trimmed with gold. Everything is trimmed with gold, and then has like this tin, kind of bronze looking color in the middle of it. It's like the wall will be like this bronze color, and then the trimming of it will all be gold. And then also there's no hard angles. Everything is smooth as far as you can see, rounded out with that gold.
I get really tempted by the gold, and I give it a good lick.
Oh my god.
Okay. You lick the gold, and that's it. You taste gold.
Actually, gold does not have a flavor, apparently.
Well, tell that to all the little gold digger dudes in every movie trope.
When they bite into it, I think they're testing
like the pickaxe or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually tasting it when they put it in their mouth. They're just like testing its hardness or whatever.
I'm pretty sure Yukon Cornelius tastes it. All right. So you guys get to this big doorway, and you guys look inside, and there are several more sets of guards inside, but you see there's a giant throne at the back of the room, and it is completely made out of that shiny, smooth gold. And sitting atop it is a very beautiful tiefling-looking queen. And she's very appealing to the eye. She's long and slender, and she's definitely stands out among everyone else. Especially given that most of the people here are gnomes, and then she's got like all these bugbear guards, a few orcs here or there. It's somewhat diverse, but she's got this dark, kind of bluish, purplish skin, and she's just sitting at the throne with her legs crossed, and just kind of looking out at you guys as you guys round the corner.
What is she wearing?
So she's wearing like these long flowing robes. Like if you've seen Kel'Thuzad in Heroes of the Storm, he's got like this like sectional like skirt looking thing. It's kind of what it looks like, as like these different sections of this skirt come down around her long bluish purplish legs, and she's just sitting amidst this throne, and she's just in one side of the throne she's got like almost what's like a little drink tray, and there's like a wine glass, like a metal chalice that she's got set there. You don't know what's in it.
Hello.
I just wave to the queen.
And she immediately looks out at you guys and says, "I am Queen Vera. What do you ask?"
What is a queen?
And then she pauses for a second. She says, "Please restate your question."
What art a queen?
And she pauses again, waiting, and then like thinking for a minute, and then she just says, "I am the ruler of Torque." Or excuse me, Torque.
I look at the group and go, I don't know what that is either.
Did anybody else say anything?
No, I'm Sakapuno is waiting for Fitz to approach them.
Yeah, okay. That's why I was asking. So Fitz approaches the throne, and he looks very concerned. And he's very hesitant as he goes forward, and then finally he kind of gets down on one knee, and he says, "Queen Vera, Toriel was just destroyed, and we're afraid that Torque might be destroyed next. We already lost one moon." And Queen Vera looks down, and she's got like these kind of amber-looking eyes, and she looks down at Fitz, and she just says, "This is not my concern. Torque is my only concern." And then he just kind of holds his head low there and pauses for a minute while he's thinking. Does anybody say anything in the meantime?
Well,
Have you
yeah,
had a chance to look up at your sky recently? You seem to have lost a moon. It would seem that Torque is very much in danger.
And so she responds to you, and she just says, "This is no matter to me. Everything will be fine."
Can I try a perception check?
Sure, go ahead.
Shit.
So is there anything in particular you were trying to figure out?
She sounds kind of funny, so I was wondering if something's up with her. Not that I would be able to tell.
So as far as you can tell, she's definitely very weird, unlike anything you've ever encountered before. Unlike everyone else here too. She just kind of sits up there stoically in her throne, and just kind of looks, I don't know. You don't really know what you would expect royalty on this planet to look like, but apparently it looks like her. So that's all you can really tell.
Okay. Sakapuno wants to do a perception check to sniff from where he's standing, not get like close for, but from where he's standing, sniff to see if he smells something that smells like home, like a tiefling would smell from.
Something that smells like home?
Well, like, so everything around here smells like metal to him, right?
Yes.
So he's but this area is green and gold, so he's going to sniff in her direction to see if she smells like a tiefling from home.
As she's doing that, I'm going to turn into a white wolf. Use my wild shape to turn into a white wolf and sniffer.
Okay, so you both are sniffing. Go ahead and roll a perception check. Would it be perception for sniffing? I think so, right? Is that what you rolled, Telsa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
that would be perception.
Okay, roll shenanigans. Okay, so you guys are sniffing the air, and you guys can smell some organic smells, unlike in the rest of the place. And you definitely you can smell the grass, and you get a few hints of other things, but you you don't smell anything that's familiar.
I'm gonna get real close and I'm gonna smell her crotch.
So as you try to approach, immediately 2 guards step out from the side and said, "No one approaches Queen Vera."
You better
I'm
not
not-
piss her off.
I'm gonna try to approach anyway because I'm drunk.
You're gonna try to approach anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you push your way forward, are you just trying to just walk past him? Is that all you're trying to do?
Yeah, as a
Okay,
wolf,
so
you know.
so you walk under their pole arms as a wolf, trying to just go past him, and it's one of them's a bugbear, the other one's an orc, and the orc takes his big heavy foot and just shoves you backwards. He makes contact and he shoves you backwards, and you take 6 points of damage as he just kind of kicks you right in the head as he pushes you back. No one gets close to Queen Vera.
Okay, I'm gonna turn back into a goblin, and I'm
Goblin?
going to cast.
Wait, you mean goblin or?
Good
I mean,
goblin.
when I say goblin, I mean the goo form.
Simevolk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're not a goblin anymore.
My
He's a
psychic thinks that
gooblin.
I'm goblin, but I'm not. I'm
Wait.
gonna cast. I
no.
think that mentally I'm a goblin, but I'm not.
No, you don't. You don't remember being a goblin. You
You
were
have no
you were
me-
literally born as soon as you came into being a Simevolk. And so
You have no mental framework to grasp what being a goblin even is.
Yeah, you haven't even seen one.
I'm gonna cast conjure animals.
Okay.
I
Read
don't like where this is going.
describe conjure animals to me.
You might be faster for you to read it.
Okay, let me find it.
Can I try to interrupt him?
And I'm gonna cast it level 4.
Chev?
Yeah, you can try to interrupt him.
You're gonna try to interrupt me from just conjuring animals?
Yeah, like
I mean, all you would need to do is grapple him to stop the somatic component.
Yeah, Roll a grapple check.
Okay.
So actually, Boris, I
Uh,
think it's either or. I don't think it has to be both verbal and somatic. I think it's either verbal or somatic. It's verbal or
Okay.
somatic. It's verbal, comma, somatic. Okay.
Well,
Great if I
no,
roll
if
fails.
it's a comma, there's both components.
Oh, it is? Okay.
hmm
All right, so you'd have to do both. All right, so you go ahead and roll a athletics check for me then, Bunsen.
I already did.
Oh, okay. And then Shenanigans, roll either a acrobatics or athletics check.
Do I also roll with advantage or no?
The big question would be is if the process of trying to focus on casting the spell would take away that advantage
Yeah,
because
probably.
he's technically distracted.
Yeah, I would actually almost even say a disadvantage, but we'll just go with just regular roll, just to go ahead and roll.
Alright, so what am I rolling?
Acrobatics or athletics, it's your choice.
Athletics. That's supposed to. I'll go with athletics.
Okay.
And since I'm toxic, he's gonna have to take some damage for grappling me.
Okay, so so Lulu immediately grapples you, stopping you from casting conjure animals,
And he
And-
also gets singed really bad.
and pulls you in close. So you're smaller than her, so she grabs you and yanks you from your spot and pulls you in close.
Yeah, so basically I'm just like grabbing him and like holding him away from the queen as I'm turning back to the queen, like,
Sorry, we don't mean you any harm. We're definitely not trying to do anything. We just want to not die.
So, do I have to roll damage, or does he have to roll damage? Because I'm definitely toxic to him.
Yeah, so you take a couple points of damage from the toxicity. Your just default toxicity is not that bad. It depends on what it's reacting to, but Lulu's already a Simevolk, so she's pretty resistant to your effects.
so what happens now? Like, do the soldiers or the queen react to what I just did?
Yeah, so as you pull back Shenanigans, who you are now in slime form, right? Not a wolf.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you pull him back, and then the guard kind of steps back and relaxes a little bit, seeing that you're not going to try again. And they still hold their pole arms out in front of you guys, like, don't get any closer. They're making that super obvious. And Queen Vera says, be gone from my presence. I am not concerned about any of the things you have brought before me.
So you claim to be the leader of this planet, but you seem ambivalent towards the threats against it.
I'm gonna shut
Why
up.
is that?
Are you a robot?
And she, after both of you guys say that, she kind of perks up a little bit, and she just says, "Begone, guards! Escort them from the premises." And then the guards immediately grab you guys and start escorting you in, and 4 more guards join them from behind. And there's more ready to go along the walls if they need to, and they start to escort you back down through the courtyard.
All right. As I'm being I'm not resisting. I'm allowing them to take hold of me, I guess. But as I'm being dragged back, I just wave back to the queen, and I'm trying to think of something to say
you look nice. Bye.
So so she just pays you no attention, and Fitz is being hauled along too, and he's just letting them haul. Is anyone resisting the guards?
I just shake them off in the whole I can walk on my own kind of way.
Okay.
I still go along with it.
All right, so they escort you back out into the street, and this like one guy opens the door again, and then you guys all step through, and then he closes it up again. So you guys are back out in the streets of the little shanty town surrounding the palace, and Fitz immediately just kind of collapses into a heap, falls to his knees, kind of puts his head in his hands, and he just says, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happened to my home."
I crack
turn
my
to Fitz,
knuckles
I
and
go,
I say,
Are you ruled by a robot?
And Fitz looks at you and he just says, "What do you mean?"
She doesn't seem human to me.
And then he just says, "She doesn't, does she?" And he starts to talk. He stands up a bit and wipes some the moisture from his eye, and he just says, he's like, "Queen Vera used to be revered for all her good deeds, for her benevolent nature, and now it's this. I don't know. First she builds the pylons, and now she just sits there and does nothing. She doesn't even care."
Do you think
Sacapunto cracks his knuckles and says, "Do you want me to fight the guards?"
You're saying this to Fitz?
Yeah.
And Fitz says, "It's not going to do any good."
It'll make me feel better.
Aren't there guards right beside us?
Yeah, you guys are literally standing next to the guards. the 2 bugbears out on the street.
Do they notice what I said?
They just stand there stoically, like they don't really seem to be affected by what you guys are talking about. But I mean, it seems pretty obvious that they would be able to hear you.
I ask Fitz.
Do you think that's a fake queen?
And Fitz just says, I don't even know anymore. I don't know what to do."
Maybe we should bite the queen and see if she's real or not.
So as you guys are all talking out front there, these 2 guards, you can tell now that they're definitely paying attention to you guys, because they're picking up the idea that you guys are maybe going to plan something or do something, and so they're definitely leery hearing the conversation that they're hearing.
I look over at the guards, and meanwhile, I am still actually in guard form because it lasts an hour, unless I dismiss it. I was like, "You 2 seem very uncomfortable. Have you noticed changes within the palace recently?" And I use I try to persuade them to spill the beans.
Nice. All right, so yeah, one guard looks at the other, and then they look back. They just kind of exchange this glance that you did not expect, and then they look back at you and they just say, "Queen Vera is to be revered."
You don't sound very convinced yourself. And I make a perception check because I think they're hiding something.
So they immediately respond and said, Queen Vera is to be revered." And then they go back to staring straight ahead like nothing happened. And you definitely pick up on the tension that they definitely have some thoughts that they're not willing to share.
We've heard of these. We've heard of some tension within the castle out in the outlying areas. I feel like you're not being totally honest with me.
Roll another persuasion check.
Can I assist?
26.
Sure. You don't need to assist. that's plenty persuasive, so tell me what you say.
We have been hearing reports from people coming in from the city, from the outlying to the outlying areas, that there's been a lot of changes within the castle, that Queen Vera has not really been herself lately.
Oh, okay. Okay, so again, the guard that's closest to you, the one on the left, he exchanges a look with the other guard on the right, and the guard just kind of shoots him back a glance, and then he looks at you guys and he leans in towards you and he just says, "You didn't hear it from me. But Queen Vera, she's not what she used to be. And then he kind of stands back up straight and looks nervously back at his buddy.
I kind of lean. I kind of lean into him and is like, about how long ago did it start, and what type of changes have you seen?
And so again, he's looking around frantically, like worried that anyone's gonna see him. And a little old goblin, or excuse me, not goblin, little old gnome woman kind of creaks her way across the street, about probably like 30 feet away. Just kind of, she's got like this little like weird mechanized walker that with all these weird gears on the bottom of it. And she's kind of crossing the street. So he waits a second for her to get across the street. And then he just says, she hasn't been the same since about 5 years ago when she got sick.
Sick?
She got sick and she disappeared for almost 3 years before she reappeared.
What kind of illness?
That's all I know. That's all I could say. I can't say any more. And he goes back to standing up straight.
I look over at the group and it's like, we have a mystery to solve here.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is not the queen that our gnome buddy knows.
So a few more hours have passed and it's evening now. The sun is definitely approaching the horizon, just so you guys are aware.
Okay. Can I turn to the guards, having heard that? First of all, did I hear all that?
Yes, every one of you heard that. It was very obvious.
Okay. I go over to the guards and I'm like,
Do you think maybe the real queen was captured and might be kept somewhere? We can go try to find her.
Roll a persuasion check.
all right. Hey.
Okay, so he leans in just a little bit again, looking around frantically, and he just says, "I don't know anything. All I know is that's not Queen Vera." And then he goes back to standing up straight.
I nod a bit and say,
Thank you.
and I go back to the group.
I'm gonna wink at one of the guards and try to seduce him.
Okay, are you gonna transform into anything or just stay a amorphous blob?
I'm gonna stay at blob.
Okay.
In fairness, he's drunk.
All right, so so go ahead and roll a performance check with disadvantage, please.
This
Do I
would
have
be the best
disadvantage?
natural 20 of the campaign if this works.
Click the disadvantage button, and then All right, so you wink at one of the guards, and it's the other guard that wasn't talking as much catches your wink, and he kind of looks at you puzzled, and then immediately goes back to looking straight, like that did not just happen.
I'm gonna attempt one more time. I'm gonna show a little bit of leg and wink.
Okay, again, another roll with disadvantage. Okay, so it doesn't affect him at all. He's like trying to ignore you now.
Can I ask Fitz?
So, Fitz, if the real queen's still alive and being kept somewhere, do you know anywhere she might be?
Fitz turns on it. He says, I don't know what happened to the queen. If that is the queen, I don't know. All I know is that she used to be so kind, so caring, so focused on the economy and the well-being of her people. And then she got sick, and she stopped caring. And she had all sorts of people building pylons all over the planet. She says it's to protect us.
Fitz, is there like some kind of mine around here?
He like looks at you like confused, like mine?
Yeah, someplace you might want to hide someone, but it's so boring that no one would ever go there.
More importantly, I think we should investigate one of these pylons. You're good with the technology. You'd be super helpful with this.
So he looks at you, and then he looks kind of over to his left. He's sitting facing away from the guards, and so to the rest of you, it's to your right. And just above the trees, like the weird like metal palm trees, you can see the towering pylon that you guys had to walk past to get into this town in the first place. And it's enormous. It's a giant skyscraper of a pylon. It's almost like, picture like the Eiffel Tower, but solid, and just going up way higher than the Eiffel Tower. And there's this giant orb at the top that's got sort of like, think of like the Spencer's orbs with like the weird energy tendrils that come out of that little center part. That's kind of what it looks like on top. And all this energy is being siphoned off the top of this tower into the atmosphere above.
I like how you call them Spencer's orbs.
Hey, it's a good description. You guys try to go towards the pylon, or?
I'm gonna say, what is this pile made of?
Pile.
Yeah, well, my goblin thinks that, or my slime thinks
Slime
it's a
block.
pile.
Oh, the
It's not
pylon?
junk. Yeah, I heard pylon and I heard pile of something.
Well, your character hasn't heard the word pylon at all. That's just what I've described to you. I guess actually, excuse me, you're right. Fitz did say that Queen Vera was building pylons.
And I heard pile of something, so I figured it's like a pile of something like leaves.
Oh, okay. All right. So Fitz is like, no, not pile, pylon, and then he points to the giant tower next to you guys.
Well, we should get going then, right?
And then with that, I like lean down in front of Fitz to offer him a piggyback ride.
So, is Lulu still grappling with me, or?
No, that was just to get you away from the queen.
Yeah. So Fitz is hesitant for a sec, but then he's like, fuck it, and he gets on your shoulders.
Nice.
I'm also gonna climb on Lulu's shoulders.
No, you're not.
All right, so
Before you,
you need to roll an athletics check, Rainbow, and then you need to roll either an athletics or acrobatics, Lulu, and then so does Fitz.
Oh
Okay.
no.
So Fitz rolled a 6.
with advantage.
No, not with advantage.
Okay.
Because we're resisting. So Shenanigans. So you immediately pull Fitz up onto your shoulders, and Shenanigans immediately covers Fitz again, just like before. When he absorbed Fitz, he just absorbs Fitz on your shoulders, and then kind of just maintains the position that Fitz is in with his legs over your shoulders and everything. And then Fitz is just
Can I try to not to hurt Fitz, but like rip Fitz out of Shenanigans?
You sure can.
Oh, I thought Fitz was in Lulu, not me.
No,
No,
he's in you. Fitz is on Lulu's shoulders. You climbed on Lulu's shoulders and consumed Fitz.
Oh, okay.
So you're now on her shoulders, and Fitz is kind of burning inside of you.
Okay, so seeing this, Sakapuno is going to quickly look around for a metal bucket that I could empty. Do I see one in my immediate vicinity?
No, but you are right on the edge of that forest, and you could take sheets of metal off of those trees probably pretty easily. They look pretty flimsy.
All right, I'm going to walk over, or I guess just reach over to one of the trees and shake it a little, and then grab a piece of sheet metal off of it and rip it off.
Okay, so you grab the tree. Roll a strength check for me for grabbing the tree and shaking it.
So 24.
Okay, so you grab the trunk of this weird metal palm tree and you shake it, and you hear this like whining of like metal like bending as the leaves are like flapping back and forth, and then two of them just like break free off the top and fall right on the ground and clink against the metal ground.
All right, I want to pick up this piece of sheet metal, and I want to wrap it as best I can around my shoulders,
Okay.
and then I'm going to pat it and motion to Shenanigans. Hop on, little buddy. I'll carry you, baby.
I'm gonna jump on it so fast that I drop. What's his name again? Fritz.
So,
Fitz.
are you leaving Lulu to go to Sakapunto?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump so fast that Fitz falls out.
Yeah, so Fitz immediately just immediately disappears from Shenanigans, but still on Lulu's shoulders, just like as he's catching his breath.
Yeah, I was going to try to immediately do like a grapple check to try to like rip Fitz out of Shenanigans.
Now you don't have to.
Okay.
So Shenanigans, you immediately jump over to Sakapunto's shoulders, and you kind of just there's a brief little sizzle on the metal, but then it comes to a stop as the two materials reach an equilibrium. All right, so you guys are about to head toward a pylon, I think.
Yep, and I'm carrying Fitz by piggyback.
That's right.
And I'm carrying Shenanigans by
Also
sheet metal saddle.
All right, so Shenanigans is forming this sort of humanoid shape. He never really gets it very accurate on your shoulders. And then Fitz is riding on top of Lulu's shoulders, and you're kind of have to. He's a little bit heavy for a gnome, and so it's not like a little kid on your shoulders. It's an adult gnome.
I have 12 strength. I have 19 strength. I'm fine.
Okay, so you're good then. You're holding this guy up, and you're heading towards the pylon, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you guys approach the pylon, you hear this low hum sound that just gets a little bit louder as you get closer.
So what are these pylons for?
And so if it Fitz is looking up at the pylon, just kind of like hasn't seen it in a while. Obviously, like he's been up on that station for who knows how long, and he's just like, I don't know. These pylons are unlike anything I've ever seen.
Is there like an entryway to the pylons?
So as you approach it, there's nothing blocking your path. It's like if you've ever walked up to one of those big electrical pole things like that are out in like the rural areas, that like where it'll pipe electrical lines alongside like a highway. Those big, giant, huge metal Space Invader looking towers. That's basically what you're looking at, is this giant metal brown tower, just solid metal, and there's no obvious way to go inside it. There's nothing blocking your path from getting up to its base. It's just embedded in the ground.
Can we climb it?
You can certainly try to climb it. It's a pretty smooth surface, though.
I'm going to, meanwhile, search around the pylon and see if I can find any type of access hatch or something that looks like it might be a control panel or a way in or something, anything like that.
Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation check for me.
Nope.
Nice.
You do not find anything that looks like anything. You go around the whole perimeter of the pylon's base, kind of square perimeter, and you find nothing to go inside.
Pretty sure Fantasy Grounds hates me. I think I've rolled literally one. I think I've rolled higher than a 10 on the die once in the last 3 sessions. Like, I'm about ready to switch over to something else for dice.
You guys are welcome to roll manual dice if you can do it without taking up too much time.
So I say to Fitz, I say,
Do you think I can be able to climb that?
Fitz looks at the tower, then looks back at you, and like, I don't know anybody who can climb that.
Give it a
I'm
try.
going to... Sakapunto is going to walk very, very close to the pylon to just touch the surface, and also to get shenanigans very, very close to the
pylon.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get close to the pylon, and you reach out and touch it. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay, so you feel this very slight vibration, just slight, not anything major, but it kind of goes along with the hum, just like.
I'm gonna lick the pylon.
All right, so you lick the pylon, and you feel the hum on your tongue. You feel the vibration on your tongue, and that's it.
Does he interact with it at all?
No. You hear like a very brief tss, but then it kind of fizzles out, just like your shoulder pads.
My saddle.
Yeah.
What would I roll to be able to try to climb it?
Probably an acrobatics check with disadvantage.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to sing to that pylon.
You're gonna sing to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Said
and sing.
acrobatics.
What do you think singing is gonna do?
Oh.
Oh, nice. All right, so you immediately lunge upward, and Fitz goes falling off your shoulders onto the ground. Oof!
Oh, wait. I wanted to keep him with me since you know what to do up there.
Oh, you're trying to keep him on you? All right,
Yeah.
well, then you jump half as high. So you keep him on you, but you jump half as high, and you kind of just stick to the side of the pylon. Probably about 50 feet up, but it's a ways away from the top. So
Wait, it jumps 50 feet?
Yeah, you're like stuck to the side of this pylon, pretty high up,
Wow.
but
Can I
not
start
high
like
enough.
inching my way up as I climb?
Yeah, but each inch up is going to require another acrobatics check.
Each inch up?
Yeah, like each little grip up, however far I guess you could stretch to try and grab onto a higher position.
all right, each of these with disadvantage.
Yes.
All right. How many feet is it to the top?
You can't tell, but it's a lot. You got a long way to go.
If it's the Eiffel Tower, it's like, what, 1,078 feet or something? I forget the
Well,
exact
remember I
number.
said it was way taller than the Eiffel Tower. I was just talking about the Eiffel Tower to
Oh,
compare its shape.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm kind of scared to roll again because I'm gonna roll a 1. I'm gonna fall down and maybe kill Fitz.
You can inch your way down
All right.
pretty easily.
Yeah. After I landed, without moving, I just say to Fitz,
I don't think this is gonna work.
Okay, so you inch your way down safely then, I assume?
"Yeah." Does
Okay.
Fitz say anything to what I said?
Fitz is just kind of shocked because he didn't expect you to leap.
So before they climb down, I'm gonna start clapping for him.
Okay. All right. So it takes a few minutes, but you're able to inch your way. You kind of just let go of your grip a little bit and just kind of just slide down back down onto the ground.
All right.
When they get to the ground, I go, Lulu, you're supposed to climb up, not down.
All right, you try.
I take that as a challenge, and I try.
You're gonna try and climb.
Wait. If he's gonna try to climb, I am going to kind of turn and say, I could throw you.
Oh, yeah. She's gonna throw me.
All right. Roll an athletics check for that then, Sakapunto.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay.
First, I say, all right, get into a ball.
I'm gonna get the ball.
And
Okay.
now, knowing this is gonna burn me, I cringe, and I grab him, and I try to throw him as far up as I can, like I did that little metal bird. He said
Okay.
athletics, right?
Yep, athletics.
You know what? I suddenly have a bad idea about having him being the only one up there.
Oh.
Okay, so you take Shenanigans, cringing, holding this burning ball of toxic slime, and you hurl him upwards, and you make it almost like double where Lulu went to with her jump, and he just sticks to the side of the tower.
I'm gonna slowly roll up. Use my slime stickiness.
You're gonna go up. Okay, so every time you try to roll up, it's gonna require a acrobatics check.
Do I get an advantage if I'm going slowly?
No.
Alright.
I'm going to take the sheet metal off my shoulders and hold it
Advantage.
underneath of him just in
I'm
case.
sorry.
Okay.
What did you say that I have to roll? What?
An acrobatics check.
Yeah, alright, I'm gonna roll up.
All right. So you're able to roll up about a foot.
And roll up again.
Okay, you make it about a foot and a half.
I don't think
I'm gonna roll up
this is
again.
happening.
Oh my god, this is gonna take forever.
Okay, another foot and a half.
Can you just like have him
I'm gonna
roll
keep
like
it rolling.
50 d20s?
Did you roll another 13 for real? Yep, another foot and a half. You made it up.
I'm gonna go again.
Chev.
Hey,
All
I
right,
just want to
so
give you
this-
guys a reference. The
Go ahead.
tallest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa, right? And it's 2,700 feet.
All right, so you try to roll up a little bit, and you slip, and you slide back down 10 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna still keep on going.
Oh my god, no. Why did I throw him?
You try to roll a little bit more, and you immediately lose your grip completely. It's like this very slick part of the pylon, so it's got a hard angle, but it's like a smooth part of this alloy that has never had anything on it before because it's so high up. So there's no animals or anything that's like tried to mess with it. It's not scuffed or anything. It's super smooth, and as soon as you try to roll onto it and make progress, you immediately slide right off of it, and you're about a foot away from the thing now, so you can't even grab it, and you're just falling, and you immediately fall down to the ground. And I need you to...
Not the ground.
Oh yeah,
sheet metal.
you fall into Sakapunto's sheet metal, and she tries to catch you, and you take 10 points of damage as you impact the sheet metal.
Oh, I was about to say like rest in peace Shenanigans.
And I say, welcome back, little baby.
It would have been a lot more if it wasn't for Sakapunto saving you.
Oh my god. Guys?
Uh-huh.
First of all, Shenanigans, or Rainbow, did you already mark that damage?
Yep.
Just so you guys know, Shenanigans has 26 health out of 61 now.
Wait, what?
I checked Shenanigans' health, and he has 26 out of 61 health.
Oh no, I need to refresh this page. Yeah, you're looking pretty bad.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he always looked bad anyway.
How can a blob take such a beating?
So Fitz
Do we
finally, Fitz after pausing and kind of thinking about stuff and watching you guys do whatever it is you do, he finally gets disgusted and he just walks over to the side of this pylon and he presses against the metal plating and this little panel just opens and he's like, "All right, come inside."
So is this going to be a running gag on this planet? We're just going to try random shit and ignore a front door?
Well, I was really looking forward to the opportunity to throw somebody, so I had my time.
So you guys follow as he just like pushes on this panel and then it just immediately opens up.
I carry sheet metal infused shenanigans with me.
Okay, and as you guys as you guys pile inside, the hum gets a lot louder.
As I pass by Fitz, I thank him and I lean down again to offer him a piggyback ride again.
And he kind of looks annoyed at first, but then he's like, "Oh, whatever," and he hops back on again.
Yay!
So, as players, we know what would happen. Did they like summon an elevator or something else?
So as you guys approach inside, you can see it's basically looking pretty hollow, except for this one like central shaft that's kind of coming out of the ground and headed straight up in the air, and it's opaque. It's made out of this like same brown metal as everything else seems to be. But the hum seems to be coming from that conduit, and if you walk up to it, you can kind of just feel the air vibrating around it. But as you look around the room, you can see that there is a spiral sort of staircase that's kind of going around the sides. If you've ever dug a hole in Minecraft, super down far in Minecraft and built a spiral staircase that way, that's kind of square, that's what it would be like.
So are there stairs or anything?
So I just said, yeah, there's stairs, like a Minecraft spiral square staircase. Alright, so are you guys going to start up the spiral staircase then?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to follow after Lulu and Fitz.
Okay, it's going to take about probably... it's super tall. It's like 5,000 feet high. So it's probably going to take you probably a whole day to go up this tower all the way.
Wow.
Are you guys just gonna keep going?
Can we take a long rest at the bottom of it?
Yeah, it's going to be like
is it a safe place
an
to rest?
18-hour walk up these stairs. And sure, you guys could take a long rest.
I try to ask Fitz.
Is there a faster way up here?
Sorry, what'd you ask?
Is there a faster way up here?
And Fitz goes, I don't know anything about these. I just know that the way in.
Would you be willing to take a look around the room really quick?
Just be my guest. I'm as clueless as you are at this point.
I gently set the sheet metal carrier down, sheet metal saddle down.
Okay, shenanigans flows off of it.
I say to Fitz.
I mean, you know all the tech stuff around here, so I'm wondering if you want to take a look around.
So are you guys all in agreement about the long rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys were creeping up on day 12, and so you take a long rest, which is like 12 hours. 8 to 12 hours, I guess it is. And so you guys are on... It's been 12 days, I think, since we started the campaign. I'm trying to keep better track of the time since we're now recording, and we want the time to actually matter a little more. So you're probably on like day 12 now, and you guys take a long rest. You guys are all welcome to trigger the long rest on your sheet. There's nothing in here that would interrupt it, so you guys are all asleep on the stairs, I guess it is. And,
well, I assume there's like a base area around here, right?
Yeah, but you guys climbed up a ways, didn't you?
Oh, I thought you said that. I thought Miri suggested that we take a rest before we start climbing.
Mirma, is that what you intended to say?
I meant to, but I mean, because I had already said I started following them, but.
Okay, that's fine. You guys are at the base then. You guys haven't climbed up the stairs very far, so you take a rest. It's now day 12, and now you guys are all waking up, refreshed. Your health is back to normal. All your spell slots are free. You guys are feeling good to go.
My question is, Shenanigans still drunk?
No, not by now.
Does Shenanigans have hangover?
Roll a d20 for me. Yes, you do.
Ooh.
A severe hangover. You're feeling pretty sick.
Would Sakapuno be able to notice, obviously, that this poor thing is hungover?
Yeah, it'd be pretty obvious that Shenanigans doesn't want to wake up, is not really cognizant, and can't really function very well.
I pull a bit of ration out of my pack, and I take little bits off of it, and I set it on Shenanigans' head and watch it absorb in.
Okay, so you take some rations out, and you kind of just poke it into Shenanigans' head a little bit, just as it starts to disintegrate.
For that matter, when I get up, should I remove a ration as I eat breakfast or anything? Or?
Yeah, so if you guys are eating, make sure to mark that off on your sheets. I do want to make rations more of a thing that we have to worry about. So yeah, if you're gonna eat, it's been a whole day since you guys landed and tried to see the queen, and now you're trying to hike this pylon. So it's and you took a nap, so you're clear into probably the late afternoon of the 12th day here.
How many spider legs do I need to eat?
Are you not out yet?
No.
How many do you have?
7 left.
I mean, you can eat. I mean, one would satisfy you for a while.
Alright, I'm gonna eat 1.
Okay.
With all that out of the way, should we start heading up the stairs?
Is there a way to add notes that my bedroll is wrecked? But I still have it.
It's just singed. He never actually ate all the way through it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I was
It's just
kind of
like
expecting to have like a giant hole in
where
it.
it'd be normally like a tan, the regular tan canvas. Instead, it's just kind of charred a little bit. But so far, there's no holes.
Nice and cooked.
I lean down to offer Fitz a piggyback ride again.
Okay. Fitz at this point is done acting superior and just hops on.
Yay.
No, make Lulu say yay.
Okay.
Yay!
I put my sheet metal saddle back on just in case needs it.
Okay, and right now Shenanigans is not able to function. So are you carrying him in something, or?
I'm going to pet. Oh, so let's see. So you can't hold on to me to the sheet metal?
You can.
I'm gonna see the sheet metal, and I'm gonna jump out the sheet metal.
You're gonna jump out of it onto the ground?
No, I'm gonna jump onto the sheet metal.
Oh, well, you're already on it, right? Wasn't he?
Oh no.
No,
I was
I
taking a nap, wasn't I?
I assumed that with the long rest he was on the ground somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And then
All right, so he hops onto the sheet metal. Are you holding it, or is it on your shoulders, or how's this working?
I have it cupped around my shoulders, I don't know, remember, one of those scarf things, but it's not a scarf. It's
An
like
ascot.
the old, the old babas wear. The
Okay.
grannies, the little Greek grannies, the shawl. That's the word I was
A
looking
shawl,
for.
okay.
Like a shawl. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you throw him up there, and he seems content. He's not feeling very great, so he's just gonna kind of slump over your head.
And I guess I start up the stairs.
Okay. So it's gonna take about with a fresh rest and everything. It's probably you guys could probably do it in 8 to 10 hours. Hike this whole thing.
I would like to attempt to walk up the entire thing without stopping. I think I'm physically fit enough to do that.
So as they're doing that, I'm gonna try to sneak in a nap.
Okay, so you nap on Sakapunto's shoulders, and she's trying to just hike this thing steadily. Okay, so is anyone else doing anything in particular, or should we just fast forward?
Just fast forward, I
I'll
guess.
take that as a fast forward. Okay, all right. So 8 hours later, you guys are getting pretty close. You're probably about a couple hundred feet away from the top here, and it's definitely getting into day 13 here. You guys are finally towards the top, and the hum has just gotten so loud you can barely hear yourself think over the top of it. and you can just hear the energy up at the top, the electricity just kind of emanating off the top as the energy is siphoned out of the orb and up into the atmosphere. As you guys approach the top here, there's like a sort of aperture, like a circular aperture that if you've ever seen like those metal, I don't know if you've seen Stargate, there's they have an iris and it kind of closes in this sort of circular pattern. That's kind of what it looks like, this little valve that you guys are blocked by, so you can't go any higher.
Could we feel the electricity in the air?
Yeah, so there's like just kind of you could hear it, obviously, but then there's also just this, you can feel almost the static in the air as everything is kind of highly charged in this area where you are.
I asked Fitz.
So, do you see anything interesting up here?
And so Fitz looks around, he takes a look at the aperture that you guys are blocked by, and he just looks like a door we can't get through.
Shenanigans, you want to try to melt through it?
I assume he's talking to me, so I lean against this door.
Okay, so it's on the ceiling, basically, from where you are, but it's super low, so if you go all the way up the staircase, it's only a couple feet from the very top platform to this, like, iris-looking aperture. And so you could definitely press against it for a prolonged period of time. How long are you going to press against it?
Until I go through.
Okay, so you press up against it, and you hear the sizzling sound, but it kind of comes to a stop. And after about 30 minutes, you hear nothing. There's no interaction. Whatever molecular interaction has been going on between your toxic slime and this alloy, you've finally decided that nothing's happening.
So I back away and see what happened.
Okay, you back away, and it just kind of looks tarnished. There's nothing. Nothing hasn't obstructed it at all. Hasn't let you through. That's for sure.
I'll sink up potatoes and I say, "What's that?"
I'll sack up potatoes.
I'm going to crack my knuckles, but wait a moment, looking from side to side to see if anyone else tries something first.
Okay.
Ooh, I got an idea.
Okay.
I know about my. First of all, you know that strange golden hand bracelet thing I have, right?
Yes.
Can I try to shoot a beam at it?
You can.
Yeah, I want to try to do that.
Okay. So you raise the weapon. I'm not sure what roll I had you roll for this.
At the first time, it was performance to see, because I was just trying to see.
That's what I was going to have you do. So that's good. Let's do performance.
Okay. First of all, I just kind of equip it on my arm. I hold it forward for a moment. This gives Fitz a chance to look at it and see in case he reacts to it.
Yeah, so Fitz sees this bracelet materialize, and his eyes kind of go wide, but he doesn't say anything.
All right. I try, like I had once before, I think in a dream at this point.
Uh-huh.
I try to shoot a laser from it.
Okay, so you aim up at this aperture, and you think really hard to try and fire a laser, and it just kind of goes, just kind of sputters a little bit, but doesn't really do anything.
Oh. I don't suppose I can try again, huh?
You can try again.
Oh, okay. I'll try again.
Okay.
Oh.
Again, just...
Okay, immediately after that second laser fire goes, I say, "That's enough playing," and I walk up to it and I try to punch it with one fist. As hard as
Okay, roll your attack.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Since I'm on her shoulder, I'm going to assist her.
So I do this as an unarmed strike, as a regular attack.
Okay, roll it with an advantage because he's trying to assist you.
Okay, so 15.
Okay, so you punch right into this iris-looking thing, and your fist goes straight through this sheet metal as it just kind of pushes through the other side, then pops out the other side. So there's this kind of a fist-shaped hole in the metal, and you slowly, carefully pull your bugbear fist back through the thing without trying to cut yourself on the metal you've bent inward.
All right, I'm going to use my other hand, and I'm going to try to push in the metal that has already started to burst inward. Push it in more to make a bigger hole.
Okay.
Do you want me to do what check you want me to do for that, for pushing the sheet metal in?
Probably athletics, right?
Okay, sounds about right. I can do
I'm
that.
also going to assist her doing this as well.
Okay, yeah. Oh, let's go ahead and roll that with advantage then.
Okay.
Okay,
That's a 22.
So you bend this inward and just like the metal starts to curl almost, just like it's just peeling away from these huge bugbear fists.
All right, I want to keep doing that until I've made a hole big enough for some of us to get through safely.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so you continue for probably 10 more minutes, just like pulling this metal back until there's a hole big enough that everyone could fit through. And you go ahead and pull yourself up inside, and it's almost like the top of a lighthouse inside, where there's like this central like orb and all this energy that the electrical noises have gotten even louder. You can barely hear yourself think over the top of all these zapping sounds and everything at the top of this tower. And there is very clearly a conduit that's coming into the central orb. And the conduit at this point looks pretty flimsy. It definitely looks like it's a transfer point, where it's transferring the energy into something else, some other form, so it can emanate it forth.
How much attention do you think it would generate if we broke this thing?
Is that in character?
Yes.
So
Sakapuno looks to Furlough and smirks with a big old toothy grin.
And Fitz just shrugs, just looks at both of you and just goes, I don't know.
I'm gonna cast Thunderclap right at it.
At the point where the conduit meets the orb?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack.
It needs to make a Constitution save of 13.
Okay, so that's gonna fail because it's just a conduit. Let's see. You create a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard up to 100 feet away. Each creature within range other than you must succeed on a Constitution. Oh, well, that does nothing. So each creature within range other than you must. So all of you need to succeed on a Constitution saving throw of 13. So I have this figured out, by the way. Hold on, you guys don't need to roll.
Okay.
Let's see, saving throw, Constitution. I love this. I figured this out. Okay, so Lulu saves. Sakapunto fails. Shenanigans saves. Havabir fails. And Furlough fails. And, Freya's not here, so don't worry about Freya.
Does it matter what my saving throw is because it says other than me?
Yeah, no, yours doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go, oh, sorry guys.
You fucking dumbass.
So what happens? Let's see. The spell's damage is increased by 1d6. Oh, so you need to roll 1d6. And then what level did you cast that at?
Just regular level 1.
Level 1? Okay. So yeah, 1d6 damage.
Okay, 4.
Okay, so everyone who failed takes 4 damage. So Havabir takes 4 damage. Sakapunto takes 4 damage. Furlough takes 4 damage. Okay? so this thunderclap happens right inside the top of this tower and damages a bunch of you guys, causing your ears to ring.
Oops, sorry, excuse me, sorry.
And nothing happens to the conduit or the orb at the top of it. Anyone else do anything else?
Hey, have a beer. How about you take your axe and smash that thing?
So Havabir immediately brings up the rear, kind of comes in, and he's, all right, let me give it a shot. And he takes the Terso's teeth off of his back, and he takes a swing at the orb. Let's see here. Okay, and he goes ahead and he hits it, and so Terso's teeth impacts the orb and just sends like a shatter throughout the orb. It doesn't break it or anything like that, but it definitely puts like a big crack through the side of this orb.
I think that's doing something.
I might give it another go, and then he takes it. I know his accent's super inconsistent. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, wow, it's old school Havabir.
He takes another swing, and he brings it down against the orb, and this time it shatters against the side of the orb, And these weird like filament things inside there, like think of like a light bulb and the two filaments that have this like connected like circular or spring-looking wire. Immediately just kind of they just kind of overload with energy, and then as they're interacting with the oxygen around them, just this big flame appears and just kind of washes over everything, and then now the filaments look burnt, and suddenly the hum and the electrical sounds come to a stop, and the whole thing just...
I'm gonna say, oh, it wasn't me.
And now, finally, it's quiet.
Do we see any way to access or look outside from our tower?
Yeah, so you're in the top, so the surrounding, like this bulb that you're in is basically like made of sort of this sort of brown translucent glass. And so you can see out of it. You can certainly look around and see out of it. You're super high up, so it's not like you can see anything on the ground in super great detail. But you can look out around the shanty town, and you can see Mecca below.
I want to look up towards where the energy beam was going and see what I...
Okay, so you look up, and the energy that was being siphoned off of this pylon now seems to have dissipated. So there's no energy buildup or anything like that. It's almost like the siphon that was coming out of the atmosphere to gather this energy has just kind of ceased. And the whole thing has gone dark, and even the sky around this pylon is beginning to clear up just a tiny bit.
I think we're onto something here.
Not want to be left out. I go,
Hobbit Beard looks at you, Shenanigans, and he goes, "And what are you humming about?"
I'm gonna say, a glass.
And he just goes, "Stupid slime folk."
Furlough just kind of looks over his shoulder back at Have a Beer and at Shenanigans. You two are a couple letters short of glass, I'm afraid.
So now I'm gonna look down at the town and see if I notice anything different. Is it? Let's see. So if we started our trip when we woke up, and it took about 10 hours to get up here. Is it about midday-ish then, or a little later?
So yeah, so when you woke up, it was already about probably mid-morning the next day, and then yeah, so it's probably about evening now. So it's probably getting dark again.
So if I look down at the ground, can I see any lights or anything?
Yeah, so it's starting to get a little dim. This is day 13, and it's coming to an end, and you start to see these lights just like kick on all over the. As far as you can see, everything is made of this brown alloy or whatever. You don't see anything organic outside of the walls of Mecca. Mecca is Mecha, by the way. And so you can see down there. There's there's that little bits of patches of organic stuff. There's some grass and like a courtyard with some plants in it and stuff. But outside of that, everything seems to be artificial. And you start seeing lights kicking on all over the place as it starts to get dark.
Furlough mentioned, I think we found the answer. I think that's what he said.
I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Destroying this cleared up the air around the area, and clearly this energy transfer is, I would assume, about the same type that is what we encountered with on the station.
Can we see any other of these pylons from where we're at?
Yes. So as you look out across the horizon, you can see a pylon in almost every direction, just at the edge of each horizon.
We just need to hit every pylon, right?
I'm gonna look at Fritz and go, what kind of goblin technology is this?
Fitz looks super offended, and he says, "Goblin technology?"
Sakapunto chuckles and he says, "Goblin technology is bones and teeth."
Bones and teeth.
Right.
And Fitz says, "This ain't no goblin technology. This is gnomish engineering at its finest. Don't you?
What a goblin!
Don't ever.
You know, like gnomes.
Don't desecrate gnomish engineering by comparing it to goblin technology."
I'm gonna look at him and go, what a goblin like you know about gnomes?
I try to change the subject and say,
Hey, so rather than climb up all the stairs on every pylon, why don't we just fly there?
Fly there how?
With the ship thing that we did with Shenanigans.
So Shenanigans functioned in space quite fine, but once you guys hit gravity, it was pretty much a free fall.
I'm gonna look at Lulu. I'm gonna go, okay, she volunteered to be the ship.
I didn't exactly say that.
I'm like very clearly not comfortable with the idea.
So, by the way, how far are we away from being quick to cancel? I know Furlough, you're yawning a lot.
I think this might be a good a good place to take a break.
Okay,
to end it for the night. If you guys are all okay with that.
Are you guys going to take a long rest?
I think we have to, unless we would have spent another 10 hours without sleeping.
Didn't we just take a long rest?
10 hours ago.
Yeah, you did, but a lot of time has passed since then.
Oh, we can take a long rest.
And you kind of hurt half of us.
Okay, so as you guys all go down to rest, are you resting at the top of this tower, or do you make your way down first?
Is the top of the tower the nice and flat where the stairs meet up to the top of it?
Yeah, so you guys think of it like a lighthouse. You guys are in the top chamber of this tower now, where you can see out. There's flat surfaces. There's no stairs. Like, you guys can all hang out up in here. There's just enough room for all of you to kind of lay down around the core of the tower.
So I suggest we should. Sakapuno suggests we should all rest here before we make the long trip back down.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
So you guys all go to rest, and let's see. It was pretty late. It finally got dark by the time you guys went to sleep. You're going to sleep for about 8 hours, so you're about midday on day 14, and you guys all wake up to the sound of 3 moons exploding overhead.
Oh, shit.
Well, this is a lovely alarm clock.
So you guys wake up and you look up into the atmosphere and you just see just this giant, huge chunks of debris just being thrown across the entire atmosphere. And go ahead, Rainbow.
Am I still suffering from a hangover, or is that cured now?
No, you're good now.
Not after 2 days.
Yeah, you're good now. And so you guys watch as these moons explode, and then also you can see faintly one of these the orange station up in orbit. It's a midday, and you can see it up right in the center of the sky. And these moon shockwaves hit the station, and the station just kind of shatters, and also explodes, just like everything else up in the sky. And you watch as the shockwave from this station kind of emanates outward, and then for a moment, you see all the pylons on the horizon, all the energy that was being drawn upward toward that station is now kind of washing down around you guys. And all this kind of sort of a rainbow tinge, but kind of a bright white energy just flowing around all you guys. And it's really hard to see. Everything's getting really bright as your surroundings get completely covered in light.
I don't like this. I don't think we're going to be able to get to all the pylons, guys.
You guys do anything in the meantime?
Well, for now, we should get down to the ground and try to figure out what our next course of action is.
Okay.
Unless we want to straight up shatter the glass and try to find some other way out of here.
Totally up to you guys.
I don't
I'm
think
all
I'm
for
not jumping down.
I'm all for continuing, but I thought you said someone was yawning.
Yeah, we're almost done. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're minutes from completion.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
So
I
gonna
don't
I-
think any of us have parachutes.
Actually, no, I'm not continuing down. I'm just gonna sit on the plate that's on a sack of potato.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so-
gonna put my sheet metal back on.
As you guys are figuring out what to do, you watch as this energy, which is it falls from the upper atmosphere down to the surface, and it's just getting denser and denser, and it washes over all of you. And all of a sudden, you guys just feel this insane pressure as the entire planet of Torque just completely explodes under the pressure. You guys are almost, your consciousness is almost lost in limbo of sorts as everything around you explodes and you're just kind of washed over in this white light, and you don't quite know what's happening for probably what seems like hours to you, but it's probably actually only minutes, as you guys are just hung in this white bright light that's just blinding you in every direction. And then suddenly, Lulu, you find yourself in darkness. Shenanigans, you suddenly find that you have your goblin form back as you kind of wake up and realize that you're in a pub. Sacapunto, you also wake up and you're inside some kind of pub. Furlough, you as well. Havabeer, Freya, you guys are all awaking inside this pub. And you guys wake up and you look around, and there's just other patrons in this pub that just act like nothing has happened, and they're just drinking and playing games and doing what they do at a pub. Sacapunto, you're the first one to wake up and actually be fully aware of your surroundings.
Do I remember everything that just happened to us?
Yes, you do.
Am I trapped back at the lab?
What did you say?
Oh,
Am I trapped back at the lab again?
So you're just finding yourself completely in darkness. You don't know where you are right now.
This is gonna suck.
so I'm gonna make up a little bit of bugbear lore because I don't know enough about bugbear lore, and I'm just gonna say,
That's fine.
have I gone to hell?
So you slowly start to realize that your surroundings look familiar. Shenanigans, Razzmatazz, as it were. You are the second one to wake up and be fully aware of your surroundings. You wake up and you are Razzmatazz now, but you remember being Shenanigans. You remember everything that led up to right just before this moment. And you kind of raise your head off of the table in the middle of this pub, almost like you had passed out and had a hallucination or something. And you look around and you lock eyes with Sacapunto. And both of you kind of exchange this look like, do you remember what I remember? And then Furlough, you wake up and you also suddenly you remember everything that's going on. And then Havabeer lifts his head off the table on the other side of the room, and it's like, what in tarnation's going on here?
Well, this is an interesting little conundrum.
I'm gonna investigate my my arms and see if they're like made out of slime or if they're made out of like goblin flesh.
Okay, so you look at your arms and you are clearly Razzmatazz, and now you have the memory. You have complete memories now of being Raz, and then being Shenanigans, and now being Raz again, and you're completely confounded by what's happening. You have no idea, and you're looking yourself over and realizing that in fact you are Razzmatazz, you are a goblin. And then as you guys are all wondering what's going on and realizing that you recognize the surroundings, a red-bearded dwarf comes in the front door of this tavern and immediately kind of stands in front of the bar that's by the door, and he shouts, "All right, listen up!" And then,
before he says anything, I'm gonna yell, "Glitters! Glitters!"
okay, so you yell glitters across the pub. But this dwarf is already kind of shouting over you, so everyone else seems to go quiet. And then he just says, he continues on, most of you already know me. Those of you who don't, you can ask your neighbors. I'm in a hurry, and I need a few good people willing to escort a wagon of supplies to Phandalin. My friend and I have to ride ahead, take care of business in town, so I need some folks itching to make a bit of coin. 50 gold upon delivery to Barden's Provisions. And then he sits down at the bar, and you can see that he just starts kind of talking quietly to the bartender over there. And that's where we're going to end it today.
Oh, it's fucking Groundhog's Day, isn't it?
I thought we were going to go on this big, cool planetary adventure. No, you're like, aha, total party kill, motherfuckers.
Hey, you don't know that.
Well, Sakakuno is firmly convinced that we're stuck in hell now and that he's brought all of his friends with him. So thanks a lot. You scared the poor idiot.
It must be hell. There's Raz.
Hi, Raz.
So before I close the recording out, I'm just going to say thanks to everyone for listening. I'm really excited for next week. We got some awesome stuff in store next week. And so we'll see you all then.
Disadvantage is hosted by our Dungeon Master, Chev, starring P. Jitty, Dakota, Rainbow Kitten, Mirima, Evil Lord Boris, Bunsen Gyro, Deranged Plague, and sometimes Codeman. Recorded by Chev, editing by DJ Catface. Dungeons & Dragons is the property of Wizards of the Coast. Executive produced by ChevTech.